You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton, on this Thursday? Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. How about these magic numbers? 44, 49, 56. Huh? 6 weeks from Saturday. Little Northwestern, Nebraska action. 7 weeks today. The beginning of the 5-day week 1 college football extravaganza with Pitt, West Virginia in the backyard brawl. And 8 weeks tonight, Bills, Rams at SoFi to kick off the NFL season. 44, 49, 56.
We are getting there. And, the other countdown, listen to Miller and Moulton. We'll take you right up. If you're in Lake City or Port Charlotte or Tampa St. Pete, you may have to stream the bonus hour. We'll take you right up to the tee time of one Tiger Woods.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the contributions of my co-host, Mark Miller. They will be few and far between, I think, today and tomorrow, because we have live morning sports, which outside of your love for your wife and your daughter and your mom might be your second most favorite thing in the world.
There's no doubt. I love it. Already fired up for the World Cup.
When Mark shows up for work, and we're both pretty similar when we show up. I might have a little bit more of the lips turned upward than Mark, but we both walk in and Mark comes in, quick walk down the hallway,
almost skipping,
bouncing his step. All right. And as he's walking, he's talking, turn on USA Network.
It's all that mattered. Couple good mornings. Can you get USA on, please?
You put on USA, please? I think it's 240, DirecTV, 240.
Just had stuff to do today. We've already noticed something interesting. Now, you watched.
Not a lot. I get up normal time, about
right.
4:30, 4:45, and I watched maybe 20 minutes this morning.
Right. But while you were watching, Ian Poulter was tied for the lead. Now, Ian Poulter plays on the LIV Tour series, whatever it is they're going by.
I didn't watch him. I watched someone pass him and go to 4 under at that point that put him into second. And I kept noticing he was on the same hole. And I'm like, well, they'll show a birdie putt,
sure,
a par putt. He's right there.
Right. No. Now, we have seen one shot. Brooks Koepka made back-to-back birdies to get under par. And so we
saw the second putt.
Yes, we have seen a shot from a golfer on the LIV Tour. All right, which is one more shot than we thought we were going to see, quite frankly. But, they've got Poulter, they've got DeChambeau. Yet to see a shot of Phil Mickelson, and he's under par. And we've yet to see a shot of Phil Mickelson. Right. Not that there's anything going on. No, there's no concerted effort here.
And you're right. It's one thing to not show Ian Poulter.
Right. Even though in this tournament, he's been a European stalwart for a generation.
I got you, but we're not watching it on the BBC.
Right.
If we were, and that's the only thing I was thinking, going, is the BBC showing Poulter? Because I think they are. And that I may be way off base. But now I have a whole new reason to watch this tournament. It's almost, and I don't take notes. I'm not one of those people who watches a game and takes notes, although I probably should because I forget too much as it is. But I almost want to keep a running tab of how many live golf players that we see per day. Because by the time the weekend comes, I don't think they'll show any. Unless they have to.
Well, you and I root for the story. You and I root for things that we then get to talk about the next day on our show. And so you and I are just on bended knee hoping there is just one golfer who can be right there, first page of the leaderboard, and preferably middle to top of that page.
Yeah, we don't necessarily care if they win or not.
No.
We just want them to be in the hunt to see how it's handled by NBC on Sunday. That's all. Simple as that. But the Open Championship is going on. We've got a great show lined up today. NHL free agency started yesterday. Greg Wyshynski will join us. We are, what's that number for Northwestern Nebraska?
44.
We're 44 days away from Northwestern Nebraska, so it's time to start talking college football. Bud Elliott on the program today as well.
So you played golf yesterday. And besides the fact that it sure looks like you broke a finger, I hope that's okay.
And it was, I dug in. I was hit a really fat shot and the ground was a little soft and it hurt.
Huh.
And my ring finger is killing me.
Yeah. The ring finger on your right hand is twice the size of the ring finger on your left hand. Hope that's all right. But you made an observation.
People hate the Live Tour. And old guys especially.
Is it the Saudi thing?
It's got to be.
Well,
it's because it's the money thing, and I just listened to the couple of comments. See what Tiger said, and I didn't really jump in.
Right.
This was one of those times that was just shut up, let the room control the conversation.
Right.
And it took me 8 or 10 minutes to finally say, I hope Dustin Johnson wins, just to see what reaction I would get. But they all agreed with what Tiger said. They all think that this tour is a horrible thing for the game of golf.
Okay. Are they resentful?
That's the way it seemed. And I didn't start asking, but the voices and the way they talked, they're resentful of not necessarily the money, the lack of competition. They think I don't think anybody begrudges the money, but I think because of where it's coming from, they have an excuse to begrudge the money.
Now, I thought Bob Herrig, who we had on the show live from the Open Championship yesterday, I thought he made a good point in which he said, it's a bit ironic that Tiger was as strong as he was with his comments, particularly about, what's the incentive to practice? And Bob said, he's gotten many appearance fee over the years when he's played internationally. And Bob also ripped off the countries that Tiger has been paid 7 figures just to show up and play in a tournament for. And some of them,
it's China, Dubai. Come on here.
Yeah, there are a few others even in which you go, whoa, wow. So, and Bob Herrick said, but Tiger didn't mail those in. Tiger won a good chunk of those tournaments and so, Bob's like, well, obviously even Tiger, who had quote unquote nothing to play for, he showed up and played hard and tried to win. So in theory, couldn't the guys on the LIV series? The other thing is, whether it happens or not, the guys on the LIV series are convinced that their tournaments are going to count for world golf ranking points here soon. And they don't know if it's actually also going to be retroactive. So, if that's the case, then you're playing for something.
And for whatever reason, the 54 holes and the no cuts bothers people.
That's interesting. You know what? Next time that you're out golfing, say to them, does Champions Tour bother you?
I brought that up. And none of them believe me that the Champions Tour, they get world golf ranking points on the Champions Tour. Now, they're not nearly what they are for the PGA Tour, but they rank every golfer in the world. You get a ranking.
Right. You do get world golf ranking points for the Champions Tour.
None of them believed me.
Many an event is 54 holes.
I literally, when I said it, what I do for a living, they all know what I do for a living. At that point, I don't believe you.
Okay,
guys. I said, you may be right. I said, but I'm about 99% sure that you get world golf ranking points. And
Bernhard Langer continues to get world golf ranking points for tearing it up on the Champions Tour. Now, you don't get the same number of points.
No.
It's not weighed as heavily as playing in a PGA Tour event, but you do get some points. That's one of the first arguments that the LIV Tour was making with the world golf ranking folks. They're like, well, hold on a second. You got 54-hole no-cut events on the Champions Tour. So You're giving them World Golf Ranking points. Why won't you give us? I do think that this is the crux of it in my, there are things that they're going to have to do. First off, they're going to have to get on TV in this country next year.
And we both believe that's going to happen.
They did something which has got no publicity, which they're going to have to make sure it gets out. Like they gave $1 million in charity in the greater Portland area. And, if you think about that, you divvy that up amongst 20 not-for-profits or what have you, it's $50,000. You could give out,
hey, we were fired up for our little golf tournament that we were handing checks of $4,000 to charities. We were ecstatic about that. And the charity, particularly, and Folds of Honor gets money nationwide, and they were thrilled to get our money. I don't mean anything by that. But Bonita Springs Assistance, when they get a check, because it's a smaller group and it's only in Bonita Springs, hey, they're doing cartwheels. So think about that in Portland when one of these groups is getting handed a big check.
But I do think that that's one of the things that the PGA Tour really has it over the LIV Tour. The PGA Tour has raised a ton of money for charities in the local communities that their tournaments have, take place at. And I do think that if you're fighting the PR battle, that you need to also have a charitable component. I mean, if you're throwing money around, throw some around for charity.
Not only that, but just building the game of golf, obviously.
Well,
the
that's a crock.
Yeah, I know. They've thrown a couple things out there that they're going to have to go a long way or do something different in year two. I think they need to explain what it is they mean by better the game of golf. Because right now they're just bettering the bank accounts of 48 guys. They need to figure out their mission statement, if you know what I explain it.
Yeah, is it junior golf? Is it women's golf?
Right.
What is it? How are you growing the game? Where are you doing? Even the PGA Tour with First Tee, which does a great job of growing the game. I can point to what their charitable association is that does that.
Right. And they could make the argument that what they are doing will grow the game of golf, particularly in Asia, in the Middle East. Okay, but you need to explain it because you got the United States, North America, and Europe that's looking at you going, what the heck are you talking about? So hostile towards the LIV.
Hostile is a perfect word.
All right. But the Open Championship is underway, and there is an amateur who was tied for the lead moments ago.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. He thinks that moves a little bit, huh? Doesn't he look lined up about a cup left?
This is awesome.
Yeah, outside left edge. That's not where he hit it.
That's not where he hit it, but didn't it look like he was lined up there?
And it looked like the ball was on top of the left edge.
Ugh. I was going to say, if we're showing whoever Kennedy is, he better make that putt.
Of course, he's making that.
This is so great. I always remind myself, like, damn, July, like, what the hell's going to go on in sports besides baseball? And then Wimbledon happens. And then the Open Championship happens. And then I'm like, wow, this is great. Thank God. Also, Nolan Ryan was an Angel?
It was his second team. He started with the Mets, was traded to the Angels in one of the most infamous trades in baseball history.
It was lopsided.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Amazing.
look at what Nolan Ryan ended up
Yeah.
doing. And then he went Astros, Rangers.
Interesting. Shohei became the second Angel in history to have 4 straight 10 strikeout games.
Oh, could a storm brew up before the weekend, please? I can't have
Oh.
4 days of this. I need 1 day of weather.
Hopefully.
Oh, you see how many clouds there are? They'll get weather. Rory has never won this tournament. Or has he?
Yeah, he won it 2014 at Hoylake.
But if he wins at St. Andrews, that'd be sick.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, Ryan. I'm just hoping that they're wrong.
Is the amateur, is that Barkley Brown?
Yes,
Barkley?
I believe that's right.
He wasn't raised in a country club atmosphere, was he? First name Barkley?
No, he's just a good kid. Gritty street kid.
Barkley's not a country club name.
He's
Right.
English too.
Barkley.
He was raised in the
He was from the sticks.
tough streets.
McIntyre.
Mickelson's even. Reed's even. They haven't shown Phil Mickelson.
No. And Phil was one under for a long time.
Of course
Yeah,
not.
it's Phil Mickelson.
So they're actually just going to blatantly not show
Oh, yeah.
any. That is
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah, they're in bed with the PJ Tour.
That is crazy.
And this is a concerted, everybody's all in together.
Everybody's in.
The
You see,
media's-
DeChambeau's the DeChambeau doesn't do any more commercials.
Oh,
He was doing all the commercials for
Yeah, all these companies who have relationships with PJ Tour, they've had to dump all their golfers. The networks have had to essentially,
DJ was doing TaylorMade ads.
Mhm.
DeChambeau was doing
If you've seen some of the golf ads, if you remember them, you can see now they've had to re-edit the ads and take out parts where you had DJ and others. They've now inserted other golfers in.
so whatever. Say LIV just blows up. Are their careers over? Like
Well, that'll be interesting.
that's the question.
10 seconds. I love that shot right there from the bunker. It's a great shot.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Bud Elliott will join us in a little more than an hour. Bud will be a regular throughout the college football season. Wednesday mornings for Bud Elliott. Also, we were talking about magic numbers for the start of the football season, whether it be 44, 49, 56. We have a magic number. 28.
28.
28. Yeah. 4 weeks tonight.
Ooh.
We're going to have a little fantasy football event.
Our fantasy football summit?
Is that what
I don't know. That's what I just came up with. That was on the fly, David.
It's like the LIV. Are they a tour? Are they a series? What is it that they are?
Live Golf.
Okay. We have to figure out, all right, it's going to be the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football
Summit.
Okay. So it's not a symposium. It's not an event. It's not a night. It's not an extravaganza.
Not an extravaganza.
I think I like Summit. It sounds good.
Love me an extravaganza.
I know you do. I mean, you have been talking about the 5-day college football extravaganza for quite a while.
Right. It's my story. I'm selling it.
And you're selling it well, Moulton.
I'm the marketing firm. I'm the little engine that could marketing firm going, no. What you really need to do is you need to sell it as an extravaganza. It's not an event. Anybody can have an event.
How is it again?
An extravaganza. So, Dr.
Thank you, Ricardo Baltimore.
I know. I don't know where.
Is that chair you're sitting on rich Corinthian leather, too?
And I was not a huge Fantasy Island fan either. I mean, that show was even too hokey for me. And I'm okay with hokey.
It's always one scary story. They had 3, and they always had one scary story.
And it was so pathetic. Come on.
I don't know. I was like 7 or 8. It wasn't pathetic to me. This is where the age difference of you, because you're just old enough to see how hokey it was, and I was all in.
See, to me, it's kind of like the Hallmark rom-coms. I mean, literally, they do the opening 4 to 6 minutes, and you're going, well, if you stop this, I'm pretty sure I can guess how the next hour and 55 minutes are going to play out. Can I take a guess? Okay, let me guess. We're going to then with 30 minutes to go, we're going to come up with a fake, conflict in which everybody gets all upset, and they're never going to talk to one another again. Then they're going to get back together, and at the end, they're going to kiss. And then the next one's going to air. All right. It's kind of how I felt with Fantasy Island.
Fair enough.
They do the opening thing and the 3-4 people they're greeting and what have you. It's kind of like, can we stop it now? Can I guess the storyline?
It was the same every week.
Right. But there was one person that didn't necessarily have a happy ending. They had at least it was a mixed experience. And so, I'd like to take the guess. It was kind of like, if you think about it, it was like the show game. All right. They had the 3 people, and 2 of them were going to have a great experience. It was going to be wonderful. They might meet the love of their life. All right. But one person is going to come saw is what it was going to be. And so as we head to first commercial break, they really should put up a graphic and go, which one's going to have the experience on Fantasy Island, in which, we may not be able to get them back. When they see our advertisement, they may go, to their friends, you don't want to go that. It was okay once, but I wouldn't do it again. And the other 2 would be like, oh, it was phenomenal. I can't wait to go back. Don't know how we got off on that tangent.
Not sure. Didn't know Fantasy Island had Yelp ratings.
All I know is Bryson DeChambeau is 3 under par.
Ian Poulter's 2 under par. Patrick Reed, Phil Mickelson are even.
And we haven't seen a shot from any of them.
Brooks Koepka, we've seen 1 birdie putt.
I don't know how that got in. They're the screaming and yelling.
Somebody may have lost their job.
Right. Somebody's fired.
Because the effort that has been put in to, as we were talking during the break, I mean, they've had to redo all the commercials or re-edit all the commercials to get DeChambeau and DJ out. They are making every effort to not show any of these golfers at all.
Right. Because like you pointed out, I mean, the Poulter was in the same group as the other guy. I mean, you could literally start to see him walk into the shots like, oh, get out of here. Can't show Poulter. What do you mean can't show Poulter? He's on first page of the leaderboard. No, can't show him. But Barkley Brown was tied for the lead. Now he's the leader in the clubhouse.
68 for the English amateur.
That's outstanding.
It really is. It's
How great is that? You're an amateur. You qualify for this thing. It's the 150th Open. It's at St. Andrews. You throw a 68 on the board in the opening round. Thank you very much. You don't think the press over there is going to eat him up or anything?
oh wow. Put it this way, I'll put his over under tomorrow at 74.5.
Ooh, look at you. Look at you. I'll go over. Well,
And we're both rooting for him to shoot another
totally.
68.
Oh, absolutely. He could shoot 3 more as far as I'm concerned. I think it'd be great for golf. But, every now and then you get the guy who's like first round leader or co-leader or, one shot off the lead after the first round, and then they miss the cut.
Well, this tournament is famous for unknown first round leaders. So many competitors.
But apparently the weather that they're having right now, which is, would you call that partly cloudy or partly sunny?
I'd call it cloudy,
So cloudy,
but there's virtually no wind.
temperatures in the 60s, and 8 to 10 mile an hour winds, which over there is nothing. I will say they're driving 18 though today.
They were in the practice rounds as well.
It's 350 yards, but the ground's so hard that, we saw a group go through there and literally everybody was pin high around the green putting for eagle. Paul Laurie had 4 feet for eagle on 18. How about that? 350-yard hole. He got a 4-footer for 2. So USA until 3:00 today and tomorrow. If you're into golf, the Open Championship is on USA Network from 4 a.m. till 3 p.m. And then if somehow that's not enough and you want to go longer without talking to your friends and family, then switch over to Peacock. And they say they're going to do it for an hour, but let's face it, they're going to show the very last shot of the day.
No question. They've got no time limits.
I know that's what we did at Fox. We just, we're supposed to sign off at 7. Oh, we got 3 groups on the course. Why don't we just show them and sign off at 7:30? We're already here. What are we going to do?
And I would imagine that'll be the same today, especially with Peacock, because they don't really have anything. It's not like they've got to get to the late local news, David.
Right. There's not that cut in which they say extreme weather on the horizon. Okay. More after golf.
You think the local TV stations hate these kind of events?
Yes and no. This time of year, if you're a noon anchor, say, all right, it's not on NBC. Ideally, this would be on NBC. And if you're like a morning and noon anchor, you'd get the noon off. Oh no, it'd be phenomenal. You basically work a half a day. You're paid for a full day.
Ooh.
And you're done at 9. But unfortunately they switched the sucker over to USA and you got to do the noon news.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's funny. We've talked about this, how news and weather people don't like sports until they get shows off because of sports.
Right. But Monday Night Football is the one that that hurts all of them because it doesn't end until midnight, 12:30, and then they're doing the 11 and they got to just sit there and wait. That's where they get the bad rap because they're getting paid the same and they're working longer.
And whichever network has the Stanley Cup, because if it goes overtime, you could be there for a while. We did a 2 a.m. newscast once on an ABC affiliate I worked for when the Devils and Stars went 2 or 3 overtimes. Oh, yeah.
Fun times there. Starting 5 on the other side, David will give you all you missed in NHL free agency yesterday because I know he's fired up about it.
Chomping at the bit, baby. Couple of teams don't need a goalie.
Miller and Moulton, we need a goalie. Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ooh. Out of the three, what's the best sound in sports? Hitting the post in hockey, the crack of a baseball bat, or a swoosh? Chat, what do you think? I think I might go crack of a bat. I watched Giancarlo hit home runs in a dome. That sound, yeah.
Hit a big homer last night. They were losing in the 8th.
My God, he hits the ball so hard.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, Paul. Antibiotics, incredible thing.
Yep. There's Bryson DeChambeau, 3 under through 13, yet to see a shot. Tied for 6th. Oh, it's NBC.
They came back from commercial this morning. It's right when I left to come here. They came back from commercial. They showed 2 shots, showed the leaderboard, went back to commercial.
Yeah. It's NBC, man. They're the worst. They do it with racing all the time. Ask a racing fan about NBC and the commercials inventory. They don't go more than 10 laps in the Indianapolis 500 with going to commercial.
10?
10. Every 10 laps, they go to commercial.
My
God.
Sometimes, and oftentimes it's 9.
That's awful.
Yeah, it really is.
I feel that way about football sometimes, but then again, I just watch Red Zone.
I can't wait to talk to David Sampson in a couple of weeks.
I know. I'm hoping it's next week. What's he? Kilimanjaro, right?
Yeah.
No, August, I have to admit, I'm having a hard time watching the Golf Channel because it's kind of like watching a cable news channel right now. It's so partisan that
So on days that you're not working for football, do you watch Red Zone?
no.
No?
Well, that's not true. I watch it
Well, you
because I
haven't
have
been-
to.
You haven't been around on a Sunday and
Right. I mean, this will be an odd experience. Haven't had experience like this in
Yeah.
about 5 years. But no, normally we're in the booth by 1-ish. And our games used to be at 4:20. And so, no, I would watch a lot of Red Zone because we have to do this.
Mhm.
So,
and that's what they wanted on more than anything else anyhow.
well,
right?
yeah, it was just in the booth. There would be Red Zone, and then there would be like the dedicated Fox feed.
Got it. Mark, I know you got the multiple TVs, but does one have Red Zone?
Usually.
Yeah.
So what are you, second week?
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Twenty-two minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. You know, a lot went on in the world of sports yesterday. A little of this, a little of that. A couple things. Got a lot of meat on the bone.
A lot of meat on the bone, or is this just a plate of chicken wings?
Well, all right.
There's a lot of meat on the bone to me is a bone-in ribeye, David.
Okay.
And I would say this is more like a plate of chicken wings.
It's a good point. It's an excellent point. Because what this is, normally you get 10 to 12 to an order of
Right.
wings. And this is the classic order of wings where like 3 or 4 of them, you're like, oh, yeah, look at those. And then you look at 2 or 3 and you go, man, those are like barely wings. And what am I going to do with those? So that's kind of what you get in mid-July.
Exactly.
But put it
There's
this way.
nothing wrong with a plate of wings, David.
You're talking to me.
Wow.
Just
wow.
In fact, there's nothing wrong with a plate
You okay over there?
Plate of wings at 21 minutes before 7, to be honest with you. And now that you mention it, don't do that to me. Don't like making those sounds that early in the morning.
Wow. Someone may need a snack.
Not only that, we got live sports on. You know how I like to watch sports and eat.
Don't we all?
Where's my box of cheese nips? It is time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
NHL free agency got underway at noon yesterday. I got to tell you, I know most people don't pay attention to the NHL. There are some things they do better in the other leagues. Basically, NHL free agency is over. I mean, they had this sucker wrapped up by dinner. I mean, for as sexy as NBA free agency is, for as sexy as NFL free agency is, for as sexy as the hot stove league used to be in Major League Baseball, NHL free agency, yeah, we open up at noon, and by 6 o'clock, that's pretty much it. It's over. Tampa Bay, they did it again. They managed to sign Mikhail Sergachev to an 8-year, $68 million deal. He's making 8.5 per. He's technically going to be making a smidge more than Hedman. Anthony Cirelli gets an 8-year deal at 6.25 per. And Eric Cernak gets an 8-year deal at like 5.2 million per. So the Lightning go long term to try to make the AAV, the average annual value, salary basically, be such that they can fit these guys in under the hard cap. The one guy missing, Palat. Don't know if they're going to be able to keep him. You could tell he wants to return because he hasn't signed with anyone else. Right. And it's
holding out hope is really
Yep.
what it is. Can you guys make a deal? Get rid of somebody? What are
Right.
you going to do to keep me?
Yep.
Because the phone's sitting here, it's in my hand, and I'm waiting for your call.
And in theory, by holding out and being one of the last, I mean, him and Kadri
Right.
are the last two really valuable forwards that are out there. And so you could argue his price just gone up because certain teams missed out on big name free agents. They have more money to offer Palat than maybe they were intending yesterday.
You mean like all the teams that missed out on Johnny Gaudreau?
Right. Namely the Devils and the Islanders and the Flyers. Flyers got
Didn't
out
even
early.
try.
They said, we just can't afford you. It's too much money. He ends up going to Columbus. 7 years, $68 million. So a shade under 10 per. The word was New Jersey was offering him 10 per. But he ends up with the Columbus Blue Jackets, 7 years, $68 million. The Rangers signed Vincent Trocheck to be their second line centerman. They had to go 7 years, but they get him at a little more than 5.5 per, which is considered a really good AAV for a number 2 centerman. Carolina made a couple of fascinating trades. I don't know if it makes them a better regular season team, Mark, but they're a better playoff team because they acquired Brent Burns and Max Pacioretty yesterday.
Pacioretty sounds like he should be playing middle linebacker in the Big Ten in 1978.
And that was a pure salary dump by Vegas, and Carolina had the salary cap room to take him on, and so they did. So he'll be their number 2 centerman and replace Trocheck, and Burns is certainly an upgrade on the back line. He'll be their number 1 defenseman. I still don't know if they have the goaltending to be able to go the distance, but I think Carolina became a better playoff team yesterday. Claude Giroux ends up leaving the Panthers. You know what? A bad day yesterday, the Florida Panthers. They lost Claude Giroux, Ben Sherratt, Mason Marchmont, and Noel Acciari, who went to Ottawa, Detroit, Dallas, and St. Louis, respectively. This goes all the way back to some of the deals that Dale Talon made like 3 years ago, throwing big money around. Well, they paid for it yesterday. They went bargain basement shopping yesterday, hoping that Colin White's an answer on defense for a little over $1 million. They invited not one but 2 Stahl brothers. They signed Mark for $750,000, and they invited his older brother Eric and gave him a tryout. So the Stahl brothers clearly are already retiring to Florida. They're just hoping to play a little hockey before retirement kicks in. And they signed Nick Cousins to a 2-year, $2.2 million deal. So the Lightning stay largely intact and throw out long-term deals at big money and had to trade Ryan McDonough and let a couple other guys walk to make all this happen. But they have kept the gang largely intact for another year. The Panthers have lost a lot around the edges. A lot. We'll see if it comes back to haunt them or not. It's interesting, Mark. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who we talked about a lot during the playoffs before they lost to the Lightning, that, they haven't won the Cup since 67 there.
Right.
Right. They apparently are going to try to win the Cup this year without a goalie, which, let me tell you, that'll be a trendsetter. Jack Campbell is a solid goalie, 30 years old, and he was not the reason they lost to the Lightning. He was fine. You could have won a cup. I mean, Darcy Kemper won a cup for Colorado. Jack Campbell, Darcy Kemper.
Well, that's why when you keep saying, I don't know if Carolina has the goaltending, I think they do, because all you need is the guy to play, not adequate, but you know what I mean. Not everybody has a great goaltender anymore.
I understand, but, I mean, Colorado, though, had a great lineup.
Yes.
And so I think you can have a decent goalie when you're that good everywhere else. I don't know anybody else is that good. So I think you need Toronto obviously thinks they're that good.
It's just a position, though, where a guy gets hot. That's all.
Well, Jack Campbell went to Edmonton 5 for 25, and Darcy Kemper will take his Stanley Cup to Washington. He gets 5 years at about 5.25 per year. So there you go. So we'll see what happens today to Palat. Does he re-sign with the Lightning? Nazem Kadri, where does he end up? There are certain teams who really missed out yesterday. The Flyers missed out. The Devils missed out. The Islanders missed out. All right, so we'll see where some of these guys end up. So round one of the Open Championship, and Cam Young is tearing it up. He is 6 under through 11. Barkley Brown, the British amateur, leader in the clubhouse at 4 under. Cam Smith is 4 under through 13. Bryson DeChambeau is 3 under through 13. If anybody from the Live Tour or Live Golf Series contends in this or wins it, you'll have to find out about it on the internet.
Poulter's 2 under. DeChambeau's 3 under.
Right. They haven't been shown yet.
Mickelson even. Patrick Reed even.
And both Reed and Mickelson were under par. Mickelson was like 1 under going to 9 even. I mean, normally you'd see damn near every shot.
Of Phil Mickelson?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
And that's the one of all the golfers. Not showing DeChambeau, okay, I don't get it because he moves the needle a tiny bit.
Does.
But I totally, like the Poulter thing, all right, fine. But it's still Phil Mickelson.
Right.
I'm stunned.
Seeing a lot of Xander Schauffele, though, man. And he's very exciting. He really moves the needle. Major League.
Not even at his own house.
No, he doesn't. Even when he wins. Major League Baseball, the Rays have won 3 in a row from the Red Sox. 4-1 Tampa Bay. Shane McClanahan got his 10th win, and he leads the American League in strikeouts. This is a remarkable stat. The Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Mariners are all tied. 2 of the 3 would make the playoffs. The Red Sox have played 10 series this year against their American League East counterparts. Do you know how many series out of the 10 that they've won?
3.
0.
Well, that's not good.
They are 0-9-1 in series against the other 4 teams in the American League East. The tie was last weekend when they came back and won the last 2 games to split the 4-game series with the Yankees. They are 0-9-1 in the division. Needless to say, you would think that would have to improve in order for them to make the playoffs. Just something worth noting. Now, they got Sale back Tuesday, and they get Evaldi back tomorrow. So maybe things will get better post-break for the Red Sox. Marlins rallied 2 in the 8th, 3 in the 10th to beat the Pirates 5-4 in 10 before 9,524. Mets took the series from the Braves 7-3. They hit 3 homers. They have a 2.5-game lead on Atlanta. Those 2 teams will play 12 more times, all of them after the trading deadline. Toronto fired their manager, Charlie Montoya.
That catch you by surprise?
Only a little bit. I thought they'd give him through the break. You know, they've gone through a lot as an organization, some COVID issues. Also, they had a tragedy within the organization less than 2 weeks ago. Montoya really well liked, but the GM just came out and said, hey, we're underachieving. 8-2, however, they beat the Phillies. Montoya, third manager, fired already this year. Phillies, remember, fired Girardi and, of course, Joe Madden with the Angels. Good news for the Royals. They beat the Tigers 5-2. Here's the bad news. They have 10 players who are not making the trip to Toronto to play the Jays. 10. No other team in the majors that had more than 4 who hadn't gotten their COVID shot.
Right.
That's the reason they can't cross the border. 10. Wow. Twins got a 3-run walk-off homer in the 9th from Jose Miranda in a 4-1 win over the Brewers. The White Sox beat the Guardians 2-1. The Twins lead is now 4.5 in the Central. The Baltimore Orioles have won 10 in a row. They're above 500. They beat the Cubs 7-1. The Seattle Mariners have won 10 in a row. They swept the double dip from the Nats 6-4-2-1. 10 in a row for Seattle, 10 in a row for Baltimore. What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Seattle's tied for the last wild card, and Baltimore is only 2 back.
Yankees rallied. Stanton homered in the 8th to tie it. A walk-off wild pitch. Hey, we had a walk-off balk a few days ago.
Yep.
Now a walk-off wild pitch. 7-6 Yankees in 10. Dodgers 7-6 over the Cardinals. They have an 8.5 game lead. College football, Big 12 Media Days underway. Mike Gundy of Oklahoma State was the star. He said, why are we inviting Texas and Oklahoma to this thing? Why should they even be here? College hoops, Michigan State and Gonzaga are going to play on the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln outside of San Diego to kick off or tip off the college basketball season.
Yes. I love that.
Well, they have had some weather difficulties in the past. They
Right.
had rain, wind. Right.
So happy they're bringing that back, though.
It's been 10 years since they tried it. And NBA, Denver and Contavious Caldwell-Pope agree to a 2-year, $30 million deal. Don't sleep on the Nuggets.
KCP.
If everybody stays healthy, he's their 4th best player. That's a pretty good 4th best player. They're T-Wolves and Nuggets could be the big 2 to challenge the Warriors in the West next year. And that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Now in our Twitch chat room, maybe we missed it overnight. Did Palat sign with the Devils? They missed out on Goudreau. They had money to throw around. I mean, Ryan Strome, Palat, a couple of those guys have been linked to the Devils. They need a goalie also.
Yeah.
Palat,
5 years, $30 million. I'm sorry,
see,
and I missed that.
Yeah, I missed it as well. So see, and that's what we worried about. 6 a year. The Lightning couldn't go that high. So Palat, who's never played for anybody not named John Cooper, is going to go to New Jersey. Tax rate a little different in Jersey than Florida. This just in. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening, Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, Nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles. Check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
He put a jacket on.
He said that on the whole round.
Has he?
Yeah, because he looks like a dork. This fucking camo outfit on. They got one 300 on there. See, they got Rory on there, not Poulter, who's in at 300.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no doubt they're championing JT and Rory.
Yeah.
Right. Spicy pork and broccoli. Gotta hit it, dude. Whoa. He went from 1 under to 2 over.
They're showing him again.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, why have they decided they're going to show Koepka and nobody else? This makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Never even won the tournament.
I mean, he has won 4 majors, but yeah, he hasn't won that one. It is interesting. Why Brooks Koepka? No Phil? You show 2 shots of Brooks Koepka. No DeChambeau, no Phil.
Well, in their eyes, I'm sure Phil's the worst.
Really? He's an open champion.
No, I know, but have you seen how they've turned on him?
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying is
I didn't mean worse in terms of golf. I'm like most.
But I'm just thinking, you would think, though,
be the biggest villain.
If they're going to show somebody off that tour, they would at least show one of the guys who won this tournament.
Exactly. Yeah. This is Rory, right? Yeah. God, those shoes are clean. Oh, yeah.
He's off to a great start.
I love Rory. He's so damn good.
Shane Bacon has the biggest man crush on Rory McIlroy. He absolutely adores him.
The way he plays the game is just so pure.
Now, listen, if he's going to hit short shots like this, he may win this because this is not the strength of his game. That was a really nice shot.
Tiger from the UK. And white.
You are You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. The Open Championship is underway. Cam Young is 7 under through 12. 7 under through 12. It's on fire, as Marv Albert would say.
Yes, he is.
Man.
And the course is playing extremely short. The wind's not really blowing. And it makes this course relatively easy for these guys.
I mean, it looks as if in the last 15 minutes that it's freshening a bit, but not by their standards.
Yeah, it went from 8 to 10. I mean,
I don't know. I think I thought I noticed a few sleeves moving. So, you know, I'm hoping maybe gusting to 15, Mark, which of course over there is nothing.
and for these guys, that's not until it starts blowing 20, 30 miles an hour. It's not going to affect these guys.
Right. So,
and they're driving greens. They're hitting short shots into these par fours. So they are having a field day at the moment with the old course at St. Andrews.
Rory off to a great start. He's 3 under through 6, and he's got like 8 feet for birdie on 7. And if that happens, well, I mean, you're going to see every Rory shot.
You're seeing every Rory shot anyhow right now. They're pretty honed in on Rory and JT.
Yeah, the two who are active tour members who have been pounding the pavement the loudest for the PGA Tour, they're the new heroes of NBC here. You're seeing every one of their shots.
How do you think the meetings or the phone calls or the emails have been going between these two? I mean, how is the PGA Tour dictating to them what to say? Did they
No.
all do this together? How did this work out in your estimation? Because this is obviously a very concerned effort here to eliminate the LIV Tour, to not show the LIV golfers. These are guys that have won the Open. Phil Mickelson's one of the most popular golfers to ever play the game. I've been watching since 5 this morning. I haven't seen him yet, and he's even par through 16.
Right.
We would have seen
A lot of his shots.
60% of his shots
Yes.
a year ago in this same situation.
Cam Young is a 3-shot lead right now. There's a couple golfers on the course, 3 of them that are 4 under, and there's a 4 under in the clubhouse. But Cam Young right now is 7 under through 12, and he is tearing it up. And Rory's got about 8 feet for birdie on 7 to get to 4 under.
But do you think so? How do you think that this behind the scenes, let's make sure we don't show these guys, has worked out?
I think there are times in which they've conspired together, but I do think there are times like when Rory gave the interview after that Pro-Am last week, because he didn't play the Scottish. He was the only top 15 player in the world who didn't play in the Scottish Open. And so he gave, I think it was his last interview before he left that 2-day Ireland Pro-Am, in which he sounded a little conciliatory, saying, hey, I think we all need to sit down. The PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and the LIV Tour, I think we need to sit down and figure out what's in the best interest of golf, that we should be able to all be able to coexist. Now, he hasn't said it since. It was almost as if he got a phone call afterwards, like, what the are you talking about? By the way, Rory made that 8-footer, and he's 4 under through 7, tied for second right now.
Right. I get Rory and I get JT. They've been out part of the pain, but I mean, who's told, and has NBC done this on their own?
No. Oh, no.
The PGA, is Monahan called them and
Totally.
said, you don't show any of these guys? Or
Absolutely.
but what can
Absolutely.
he threaten them with? They've got long-term deals.
I understand, but there's no doubt I am willing to bet my job on the fact that Jay Monahan of the PGA Tour has called CBS and NBC and ESPN, because they've got golf on ESPN Plus, although those pictures are usually provided by either NBC or CBS. So, but there's no doubt in my mind that the PGA Tour has contacted their partners, their business partners, and said, here's the deal. you don't show them. Period. You don't talk about them. You don't show them. And then they probably said, well, what if they're in the lead? And the PGA Tour said, okay, but don't show every shot.
And these networks just went okay in your estimation.
Well, but think about it. They're not playing in the PGA Tour events. So the only time you have to worry about them is the majors.
I gotcha.
So,
but and just in the case of Mickelson, he is a guy who moves the needle. He's a
Yes.
guy who people get up to watch on television.
yes,
He's even through 17. They haven't showed him once, probably.
I know. And also 17 is obviously an attraction. It's the most famous hole on the course, the road hole. So they don't show him on that. Now he's on 18.
Of which everybody's birdieing because they're damn near driving the green. So he could get to red numbers, and we're not going to see a shot.
Bryson DeChambeau, who's also one of the, I mean, there's only 5 golfers who remotely move the needle at all. Obviously, there's Tiger in his own area code. And then you've got Phil and you've got Rory. And then maybe you start over here on the side. You know, it's kind of like college football. You know, Ohio State moves the needle the most. You know, Alabama and Notre Dame are second and third. And then you kind of got teams over here on the side who move it a smidge. You know, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Bryson DeChambeau. They kind of move it a smidge. They're like Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma. They move it a smidge. But got to remember, at the U.S. Open, none of the LIV golfers played well. It was real easy for NBC not to show them.
Correct.
They didn't play worth a damn. And I didn't watch a lot of the early round coverage. Like, did they show Phil struggling at all? You know, I don't remember. I mean, did they show? I thought they showed, you know, Brooks Koepka hadn't declared yet that he was going LIV.
No, we just all assumed that he was because of his brother, but
Right.
he had not yet made the jump.
But he declared after the U.S. Open. So, but it was real easy for NBC not to show the LIV golfers at the U.S. Open because none of them played worth a damn.
And it's easier in this tournament because sheer amount of commercials they take, they can only show so many shots of Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy in between the commercial breaks.
But it is fascinating that we have seen a lot of Shane Lowry, who bogeyed 3 of his first 5. And we saw all of it.
Could you imagine how petty it would be if they start showing the LIV golfers who are struggling?
They won't even do that. I'm telling you, they won't even put up a graphic, which, I mean, if you're doing this journalistically, you could come up with your own separate graphic and just show, here's how they're doing. Although I will say, I think like 20 of them are in the field. So it'd be multiple graphics, but listen, this is as incestual as politics. Okay, for as much as we think certain networks are in bed with certain parties, that's exactly what this is. And the PGA Tour has made it clear to CBS and NBC, this is a fight for survival. All right, your vested interest is our vested interest, because if we are diminished, your product is diminished. Got it? Are you with me? Are you, the old famous Jack Nicholson, are we clear? Crystal. Yes.
You think the boardroom is like split with these TV companies?
No.
Or not split, but
No. This is real easy. First off, we've talked about this. The golf media has been as big a lapdog media as there is in sports. I mean, come on. I mean, before the LIV series, when's the last time you saw negative coverage of a golfer, of a tournament?
Think about how much was it Brandel Chambly gets just killed by everybody because he actually will be critical of golfers.
Yes.
He's hated by most everybody who watches golf because he is the only person on the Golf Channel that is critical of people. And I think he's been a little out of bounds of how critical he's been of some people. But
I mean, about the only negative golf coverage on a somewhat consistent basis has been of the USGA and how they set up the US Open courses. And that's either hit or miss. Either they get universal praise like they did this year, like they did last year for Torrey. All right. Or, how they seemingly always get Shinnecock wrong. And they get crushed for it. But I mean, there is no negativity in golf. None. I mean, they don't talk about these golfers' personal lives. I mean, come on. We've talked. I mean, think about what Zach Wilson, the quarterback of the Jets, and everything that's been out there.
Got that dog in him.
In the last week and a half for Zach Wilson. Come on, Mark. You and I know a little bit about PGA Tour golfers. Okay? I mean, come on. They got a lot of women in a lot of ports. Okay? I mean, they do. They play certain tournaments so that they can, have their little 3-day soiree with certain women.
In fact, if you were to use the PGA as an acronym and think about James Bond movies, that would be one that's associated with
right
that tour.
Galore.
Yes.
I mean, if the PGA Tour was covered the way certain other leagues are covered, all right, but it's not.
If TMZ wanted to spend a couple of weeks on the PGA Tour,
right,
it would be saucy.
Yes.
That's all I'm telling you.
If TMZ were to spend a year and decide, just for the heck of it, we're going to pull the back on golf, it'd be a hell of a year.
Well, that's why the players were so concerned about that Drive to Survive concept.
You're
show.
damn right they were.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it going back to when Tiger got in trouble and
think about that.
Not one golfer.
For 12 years.
I'm sorry, one golfer, what's his face? Because he introduced them. Had to get up there because of his wife.
Parnavik.
Yeah. Jesper, because Jesper introduced them. It was his wife's sister or something like that. And he had to, or his babysitter's sister.
Right.
And he had to get up there and he's the only one.
But also, that stayed quiet for 12 years. Do you really think that stays quiet if he's a football player, baseball player? No.
Especially with how Twitter is nowadays? Hell no.
But so, no, this is collusion. This is concerted. This is ordered from above.
And I get that. I just think that it violates a couple of journalistic codes.
Yeah,
but I get it.
They don't care.
I know they don't care, and I understand.
This isn't 60 Minutes.
I know.
They're in business together.
I know.
This is an incestual
this isn't journalism, it's business. It's very
exactly
different.
Yep. Right. That's what it comes down to.
Miller and Moulton. Bud Elliott in about 25 minutes here on the Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
You
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, they just showed Bryson DeChambeau on the TV. He has made an appearance, and they complimented him. They said,
Kind of.
They said, say what you will about Bryson DeChambeau, but he is fascinating to watch. And then there was a little comment after. It was like,
So we've had two. We've
Scientists?
had Koepka for birdie, and then Koepka missing a 20-footer. I don't quite know why we saw that.
by the way, where did they show him? In the rough.
Yeah, well, but I mean, there are a lot of guys in this. There are certain holes in which you just aim it for the rough, to be honest.
Oh.
Because especially DeChambeau. I mean, he won a U.S. Open playing from the rough.
Yeah, he could definitely get it out of there. So is the Live Tour trying to do women as well? Yeah.
No indication yet. That it's what.
Is that a Saudi thing as well?
Well, it would be fascinating if they did it, considering how badly they treat women in
Yeah,
their own country.
that would be.
But think about this though. If you're the LPGA, if they call you and say, "Hey, we want to get involved," if you're the LPGA, do you say yes or do you go sorry?
They probably okay. Does the LPGA have ties with the PGA?
No, we have nothing on Thursday.
Okay.
So 8:00 Thursday.
Oh, wait a little bit. Here it is, 7 in the morning. I'm not going to make his phone go beep just yet. He sent that back to me last night.
Does the LPGA and the PGA have ties?
No.
Okay, then. Because I was going to say if they do, then they're not taking.
I actually don't think the LPGA would accept.
Yeah, I don't think.
They would say sorry with the way you treat women in Saudi
like-
Arabia. We can't have anything to do with you.
Yeah, our golfers have rights. Your women don't. So. Well, hardly, but you know.
Ernie Els is 3 under through 10.
Whoa! Haven't heard that name in a while.
How about that?
He'll be 8 over by the end of the tournament.
God.
I have a friend who had the opportunity to play at St. Andrews.
Texture. Just past 2 Broncos, both driven by women.
Shut up! Shut up.
That's funny.
I hate you.
That's funny.
You know, I drove past one at Publix.
Did you?
Not only was it a mom, but it was a mom who waved at me. I was like, hi. Yeah, cool. We have the same car.
That's funny.
DC goes, Ernie Els used to be an automatic selection in golf pools.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. EA used to make the Tiger Woods PGA Tour games, and then one year they made the Rory McIlroy PGA Tour games, and then they stopped making the games. That Rory McIlroy game was so damn good. God.
Tell you what, I don't think they're going to show Phil.
Oh no.
David, if you're right, and I think you are, they conspired and said, and under no circumstances do you show Phil Mickelson.
I mean, if they're not going to show him finishing up on 18.
That is crazy, though. He's one of the best golfers of all time.
And you always show them on 18 making their putt.
How many times has he won the Open Championship?
One.
Okay.
But also, He's one of those golfers in which if he goes out and shoots 79, you
They show
him
his last
finishing up and
shot.
go, rough day for Phil today.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It's 21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We are watching the Open Championship. And while we're fascinated as to who's leading and how the course is playing and all that, I think we're more fascinated by how they're going out of their way not to show any of the golfers who are playing on the LIV series.
And to finish up with what you were saying, David, if you're right.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. Shane Lowry's 2 over on the 18. Here's his tee shot.
Yeah, let's make sure we see that. We've seen one shot of Bryson DeChambeau. We've seen 2 putts of Brooks Koepka. We've not seen a shot taken yet by Phil Mickelson. He finished his round. He shot even par. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. Phil Mickelson's one of the 10 most popular golfers ever.
Oh, easily.
And best.
Well, maybe
I
it's
don't know
close.
it's close on best.
Yeah, we've actually done this before. Phil's really close at the bottom of the top 10 if he makes it or not. He's definitely one of the 15 greatest golfers of all time.
Yes.
But it's very close as to does he squeeze in at 9 or 10?
He's one of the probably 5 most popular golfers of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. He really is.
I mean, after you take Tiger, Arnie, and Jack out of the equation, Phil's going to be there with anybody else that's mentioned. And when you've won that many majors and you putt it, you make your final putt on 18, they typically show it.
Right. And, rough day for Phil today. He shot, or, Phil Mickelson tapping in here. Uneventful round, a couple birdies, a couple bogeys. He shot an even 72. Something like that. We've seen it for 30 years.
Nothing.
Not a single shot.
Got some text to get to, David.
We've seen 15 shots from Shane Lowry.
Shane Lowry.
Now, granted, I mean, he is an Open champion, all right, but he also started 3 over through 5.
Texter says, and by the way, you can text the show. 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted before, the keyword, just have to do it one time. FSN Radio, all one word, FSN Radio. Person says, much like they do with an amateur and put an A next to the names, I'm hoping they do something for the live guys. Maybe a skull and crossbones.
That's a good one.
Do you just put an asterisk next? You know how they do that when you've teed off on the back? All right. And they put an asterisk next to your hole, and then you can figure it out accordingly. Maybe they should do that with the LA golfers.
One directed right at you, Philly, who drives a Ford Bronco. And I told him I love the car, but I think it's a car that a lady should be driving. And this guy says just past 2 Broncos, both driven by women.
Oh, wow.
To hell with you guys.
Take it easy now. Ernie Els, 3 under through 10, though. The Big E, 52 years old. Ernie Els.
But
off to a good start.
But here's this one that I think most, and this seems to be what I get, and I don't know how old this person is, but this is what I was getting yesterday from the people I play golf with in my group of friends.
Right.
I'm glad the Open Championship, U.S. Open and the Masters, will always abide by merit of competition and reward players their entry based on talent rather than money earned gain. I will always watch and support this. To the live, money buys everything but competitive respect. I'm not interested in seeing the highest money grabbers play mediocre golf and laughing at each other. That's not golf. Golf is St. Andrews, Augusta, Pinehurst, Arnie, Jack, Tiger, who paved the roads for others who respect the game at any age, 8 to 80.
Now that's a text.
Okay. I listen, I agree with a lot of that. Right. Here's the deal. These guys all earned their way into this tournament, though. I mean, they did. Some of them are former Open champ. Now, I will say, of all the LIV golfers, I think only 2 have won the Open. Schwartzel, that's another thing, by the way. Charles Schwartzel has gotten virtually not Schwartzel, Oosthuizen. Louis Oosthuizen, I mean, who won at St. Andrews, has gotten nothing from the R&A this week. I mean, he's an afterthought. I mean, he's won at St. Andrews, and he's an international golfer too. I mean, come on now, they like their international golfers. Nothing. It's been documented, by the way, the tee times and the groupings, the pairings that all the LIV golfers got. Also rans. Oh yeah, they're either playing really early, really late. Nobody's in the middle of the day.
Yeah, Oosthuizen tees off at 9:37. So
that's our time, 9:37, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is 2:37 their time.
Right.
And it's been documented. And normally there is and it's not even an unwritten rule.
No, there's a pecking order of how it's done based on your status is who you're paired with. So you don't have a top player playing with some
guy
qualifier.
Right. And the LIV golfers have largely been just thrown in. Golf Digest wrote an interesting piece on it yesterday going, hey, RNA is not hiding their contempt. Not only have they said it out loud, they're showing it. And we've said this for a couple of weeks. We believe it is going to be difficult for these golfers to continue to get into majors the way that many of them have gotten into majors in the past. They were
top 50 ranked players in the world.
And therefore they were automatically into the Masters, into the Opens, and didn't have to qualify and all that. And now, the Masters can invite anybody they want. You can be ranked 212th in the world, but if they think that you're a rising international player and they want to give you an invite, they invite certain amateurs depending on tournaments that they win, in which I think we'd all raise our eyebrows and go, that's interesting. So, they have their own criteria. It's their tournament. They can invite who they want. And they haven't said much.
But they've tightened up what they do. Theirs is very specific now. They don't really invite. That doesn't happen anymore, inviting the 212th. You got to be a top 50. You have to be a champion. You have to have won a tournament in the last year. Now, where they get much more loose than the other tournaments, what you just talked about, they invite all kinds of amateurs to play in their tournament. That's where the mid-am, the public links champ. I mean, they invite a lot of AMs to the Masters, but they don't invite random pros. It's not like the John Deere where they have a sponsor's exemption and they're giving it to some local guy.
7 under is your lead right now. Cam Young, he's 7 under through 13 playing the course. 4 under is a leader in the clubhouse, a couple of 68s, including one from an amateur, British amateur, right? Barkley Brown.
Yes.
That's just, how great is that? Imagine. This is the 150th Open Championship at St. Andrews. You're a British amateur, and you're on the first page of the leaderboard. Wow, that is awesome. Go out shoot 80 tomorrow.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Right now, quite frankly, David, I'm rooting for that guy. It sounds silly. Just make the cut. Just play the weekend.
Rory McIlroy off to a great start. He had 3 birdies in a row. At one point, he's 4 under through 8.
So that's a little bit of what's going on at St. Andrews.
When does Tiger tees off? Like right at the end of the show,
right? When we are Tigers pregame.
I'm running home.
So Phil shot an even par 72. He may have just had 1 birdie, 1 bogey. I mean, it was a pretty uneventful round. I saw him 1 under throughout much of the front 9, and then he made a bogey right around the turn, and I think he may have parred in.
Maybe they'll show like a little highlight tape.
No.
Nothing?
Absolutely
You'll get nothing.
Nothing.
Trust me, if they did not show him tapping in on 18, they are not going to show anything from Mickelson.
No. I don't even know if they'll mention his name when they go through all the scores, which they do periodically, if for nothing else, just to give the announcers a couple minutes to catch their breath and what have you. And yeah, you're dead to us. That's it. Phil Mickelson's dead to the PGA Tour and to the networks that cover it.
Yes, 100%.
And that's why, we don't care who wins, but we really would love to see an LIV guy in the top 5. Okay, just to see what in the world are they going to do on Sunday.
Bud Elliott is next right here on Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
40-yard punch out. Bill hits it on the green, and I go back over and damned if Tom's not right between the two trees. He's got a perfect swing. I grab my clubs, I walk to my ball. I'm standing there and I'm looking at Bill. And he drives me. He goes, "You need a number?" I go, "No, I need a number." I go, he goes, "You have a pretty good lie over there." I'm like, I can't.
If I had no idea who Cam Smith was and saw just like what he looks like right now, I'd think he's like an Olympic snowboarder for Sweden or some shit like that.
Who, Cameron Smith?
Yes. The hair, the mustache, the flat hat, the what looks like ski jacket.
Yeah.
Look at Ernie. So pure.
Right ahead.
I don't know because they're not showing it.
Yeah, I know.
Nice work, guys.
There you go.
Is he in yellow?
Yeah,
He's.
I think.
I think so too. The Big Easy.
That's what they call him. That's great.
There's Bud.
Oh my God! He three-putted from 25 feet. The leader.
Wait, Cam Smith or Cam Young did?
Yeah.
Wow, thank God. I don't have him in my pool.
Don't worry about Monday or Thursday, rather.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a little.
I have a feeling in the last 3 minutes he realized where he was in the British Open and went, "Holy blank!"
What hole? 17?
No, that was the second par
Or is that-
5. That was
What's 14?
So he three-putted for par when he had 25 feet for eagle. He left it like 3.5 feet short, and hit a choke putt. Didn't even hit the hole. It's a dead straight putt.
We're just having fun watching them not show live golf tours.
Yeah.
Players.
We're
They did not show a shot of Mickelson, and he shot even par.
I bought Mickelson for $4 in our pool. Not to win, just
Right.
to for a qualifying score type thing. Oh man,
How you been?
been good, man. Been really good. Got
You look good.
Thank you. You guys looking great.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Oh man.
Come on.
Got my East Carolina T-shirt on. I mean,
What are you
rolled on a
talking
bed
about?
at 4:30 and came to work.
Looking great.
Go Pirates. I feel like
Hey,
East
listen.
Carolina is a team I used to like to watch,
I for the life of me, my kid goes there, but for the life of me, I don't understand why they're not better at everything.
Financial mismanagement has been an issue with the athletic department for sure.
Well, they just blew out Dooley, the guy we know, the coach. That's the second coach they've blown out there. They've done the same thing in football.
Yeah. I mean, firing
Ruffin was a joke.
Yeah, that was really kind of wild. They probably shouldn't have done that.
Listen, if all hell breaks loose with these conferences, East Carolina will be in the ACC.
This is true. What is that going to be? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's gonna be fascinating. I'm going to ACC Media Days next week. I don't know what they're gonna say. Like, what do you say?
Well, they're going to say there's nothing to talk about. Nobody's leaving, nobody's coming. This doesn't affect us.
Well, I do think that that they are going to eventually propose unequal revenue sharing
To keep certain schools from leaving,
or at least to delay it. Yeah. Or if I'm Boston College, I'm like, you know what? No, give me my full share, and then I'll go and I won't play major sports. In the future. Right, I'll just have really nice facilities, and we'll be like a very good, FCS or non-scholarship division team.
But I really hope
long term, do I want to be in that game?
I really hope you didn't have Justin Rose in your poll. He just withdrew from the Open.
I did not have Justin Rose. Is he hurt?
Yeah, he had an injury. I think it was a back injury.
Oh man, that's sad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, we're coming back now.
All right.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. We'll talk a little NHL, top of the hour. Greg Wyshynski will join us. We're thrilled to talk to Bud Elliott once again. He's going to join us every Wednesday, 7:38. Every Wednesday, beginning in late August, Bud Elliott.
And he gave away free money last year.
He did. He was on a roll, and he gave it away for free on our show, and he will join us again regularly beginning in about 6 weeks. Bud Elliott, he's sitting around doing nothing. 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports, Cover 3 podcast, and co-host of the Sports Podcast of the Year, Nolecast. You can follow Bud on Twitter at BudElliott3, BudElliott3. What are you still doing hanging around on this show? You're so much bigger than us.
But I can't quit you guys, and I do like how David said 7:38 Wednesday morning several times to remind the audience, but also to remind me, so I'm not running up the office.
That
here.
was for
He's
you,
like, yeah, Bud. Yeah. I
All right.
that.
I know on the Cover 3, you guys have been doing previews. I will get into all the teams, but just give us your thoughts. Since the last time we talked, let's see, USC and UCLA are in the Big Ten. The college football world's in total upheaval again. Just an overview of the summer and what's happening and how you think the landscape is going forward.
It's been a wild summer. I mean, we're out there in Los Angeles at the Elite 11 quarterback camp, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, no time for makeup. You're live on CBS Sports HQ to talk about USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten." Looked at my phone, was like, "Okay, yeah, that's a thing that is happening right now, right today." So it was cool to be out there in Los Angeles, for that. What a wild summer. And now you have all these schools scrambling to find out what they can do. And I'm not really sure what some of these schools can do. And you have three conferences in the P5 who are all looking at each other saying, what do we do? Can we combine? Can we maybe have some kind of scheduling alliance? And ultimately, I'm just not sure what else happens this summer, guys. I'm sure you have a lot of schools trying to jockey for position. A lot of outlets have reported that the better programs in the ACC are either trying to get out or at the very least trying to go for unequal revenue sharing, which I'm going to be very fascinated to see if Commissioner Jim Phillips speaks about that next week at the ACC Media Days on Wednesday and Thursday in Charlotte. But ultimately, I think the whole sport is sort of waiting on Notre Dame, in which I'm not really convinced will go anywhere, unless you think the ACC schools can get out of their grant of rights right now, which I'm not really convinced that they can.
All right, but you produce every year something that's called the blue chip ratio, in which you say, listen, you have to have above 50% of your roster that is considered a blue chip recruit in order to be good enough to win a national championship. And usually the number's around 15 schools every year. And sure enough, your blue chip ratio this year has 15 schools that have over 50% of their roster consisting of blue chip recruits. Before I get into that, if we just played the conference realignment game, in theory, if you're a commissioner, Bud, wouldn't a school have to produce more revenue than they're going to cost all my schools by having to divvy up the pie further? And quite frankly, Bud, how many schools out there not named Notre Dame will add money to the pile for the teams that are currently in their conference? We've been debating this. I mean, honestly, who joins the SEC after Oklahoma and Texas and adds money to the equation?
Okay, so this is exactly why I think the ACC feels its grant of rights is fairly ironclad, because there are not 8 ACC teams that make anybody more money. And apparently Oregon and Washington don't either. So if you think about it in the ACC, everybody would agree, I think, Clemson probably makes top half money for the SEC if they join, just given their cachet. But it's not a long-term guarantee. I just think you would want to add them as a brand, probably. The SEC has been reported out there that it would like to expand into Virginia. Obviously, if they do, the Big Ten probably would want as well. So they're probably both going to fight over Virginia, maybe the consolation prize being Vatech. But I'm not really sure they want Vatech, right? And if the SEC takes Virginia, do you really think Vatech's going to get into the Big Ten? I'm kind of skeptical on that. FSU and Miami, I don't know if they're going to be able to stay in the same conference if they do go somewhere else, because probably both major divisions would want another piece of the state of Florida. North Carolina is obviously well, maybe not obvious to everybody, but obvious to people on TV that North Carolina is a pretty good property. That's a state that is exploding in population, and they do football okay and basketball really well. I'm not to 8. And in order to break the ACC's grant of rights, this is why the ACC feels good. And not good, but at least good that it's going to stick around for a little bit. You need 8 teams to leave to dissolve the grant of rights. Now, if you had 8 teams that would actually increase the average revenue for Big Ten and SEC existing members, this thing would be done, right? They'd all get together and say, hey, let's split them. You take these 4 or 5 and we'll take these 3 or 4, and it's a wrap. But I just don't think there's not 8. It's probably 5 or 6, I would have to think. And there's not that many that are actually valuable to both.
Okay. I know those are the 2 big conferences, but you have the other conferences trying to survive. With what you talked about, could the Big 12 clean up the rest of the mess? I mean, is that the wild card in this? Because when I was listening to you talk about it, I'm going, all right, well, Virginia Tech doesn't really make sense to either. And I get that, but they might make a lot of sense to the Big 12. Pitt with West Virginia. As crazy as it sounds, I mean, I can see some value for the Big 12. I can't see as much for the Big 10 and the ACC, but could the Big 12 be the wild card to get the ACC to those 8 teams?
Well, it could in theory, but you're taking a haircut if you leave the ACC, right? The new Big 12, I don't think is going to make more than the existing ACC, but I could be wrong on that because they are getting a new TV deal. We just have to see how much they're valued without Texas and Oklahoma. I've seen some really different valuations there. If you think going to the Big 12 is better for you long-term stability-wise because you have a sense that the ACC is going to collapse, which I don't necessarily think that, but then maybe that would make some sense. That's a creative way to get to 8. I see where you're going with that, but it would have to be the right team. So, like, do you think Boston College wants to go join the Big 12 or Syracuse? I don't know. They seem like more academic focused institutions, and the rest of the Big 12 is not necessarily there. And I went to Florida State, so like, we're not exactly like the best academics in the world. So I'm not trying to rag on them, but
Right.
it's tricky. There's a lot of these small private schools in the ACC. How many would the Big 12 want to get who would actually come who are not SEC Big 10 targets?
He's Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports, Cover 3 podcast, Nolecast. You can follow Bud on Twitter, Bud Elliott 3, Bud Elliott 3. By the way, Ernie Els birdied the par 3 11th. The 52-year-old Big Easy is 4 under through 11 in the first round of the Open Championship.
My wife roasted Justin Thomas today. Did you see this?
Did you see his outfit?
Yeah, well, okay. So she goes, "Who is this guy? You just get out of a hip hop class? Like that's a lot of ankle."
It's true. It's true. That's like wearing floods when we were, kids. It's like, wait a minute, you can't take the school picture with those pants on. Look, I could see your ankles. But Bud Elliott kind of join us. All right, back to the blue chip ratio. You got 15 schools that have more than half their roster that consists of blue chip recruits. There's a couple here that surprise me that make the list, like Auburn at 54%, but I think they're going to finish last in the SEC West. All right, Florida at 60%. Well, then what the heck they get rid of Dan Mullen for, if you know what I mean? I mean, it's interesting. You've got schools on here. The 15, by the way, are Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma, A&M, Texas, which is interesting because they just had nobody drafted, LSU, Clemson, Notre Dame, Florida, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, Miami, and Auburn. But it is interesting. I mean, Miami has a new coach. Auburn damn near had a new coach. Florida has a new coach. It's like, well, what the hell are they doing wrong?
Well, it's interesting. I would say if you're Florida, you need to look into that left-hand column that you mentioned and see what Georgia is doing. And they were losing a lot of head-to-head battles on the recruiting trail with UGA, and I don't think that the recruiting was trending in the right direction. So blue chip ratio is how many kids have you signed over the last 4 years? How many of those are 4 and 5 stars, right? It's just the absolute bare minimum recruiting that you need to have done, according to my research, over the last 4 years to win a title. Now, if you're at the very top, you can probably get away with like lesser quarterback play. Hello, Georgia, right? If you are at the bottom, Clemson, that first year that they won it with Deshaun, was barely over 50%. Hell, Mariota and Oregon almost beat me here with the blue chip ratio when they faced Ohio State. Luckily, like for me, Ohio State stomped them. But you need to have this bare minimum level of recruiting. It does not guarantee success. I tell people on Twitter, like, hey, if you want to take this and just use it to bet games, I'll handle your action. I don't mind that at all. Like, it is not a predictor of game-to-game success. It is purely what is the absolute bare minimum you need to do in recruiting to win a title? I agree with you on Auburn. I bet them under 6.5 on the win total, but they're on the list.
Who do you see as you do this list? Because it's over the 4 years or 5 years or 6 years right now with all the players that we have out there. Who's making gains? Who are the schools out there because of NIL, because of coaching change or whatever the case may be? Who are the schools that you see are on the rise for your blue chip ratio?
So I think you got to identify Miami as being a team on the rise. They're very in it with like the top 2 offensive tackles in the country, and they already have one of them as well. They're really crushing it with the NIL recruiting game right now. I would identify USC, which is notably absent from the list. They barely missed it, and a lot of it is because of their class 4 years ago that it was just terrible. They had to recruit about 3 years in a row with Clay Helton as a potential lame duck, which was difficult for them to do. But I think USC will quickly get back on the list. Tennessee, their collective is very active. It seems to have helped them in recruiting a little bit as well. Obviously, they're doing a nice job. And for a fourth, potentially North Carolina, assuming that they don't have another disappointing relative to expectations year on the field, I could see UNC potentially joining the list.
Bud Elliott, kind enough to join us here in our remaining moments talking college football. When you're out on the trail, people in the sport, Are they concerned about it? Because, depending on which media folk you talk to, some people say the sky is falling. Others say, actually, the sport's thriving and it'll be even better down the road. I'm just curious, the people you talk to in the sport, are they concerned, or are they like, well, it's messy, but it's going to be fine?
I think it kind of depends on where they work, right? I would say that definitely a lot of folks are concerned, or at least they're thinking about it, right? How is this going to impact me? How is this going to impact the sport? And those are different conversations. I think some of them are concerned about the sport. I think some of them are concerned about themselves. And both those are valid concerns. If you're a coach at a school, if all of a sudden down the line, these players become employees, well, you're probably not going to make quite as much as you did when the guys you coached didn't make any money, right? Like all the salary was going to you. I think they're also concerned a little bit about some of the realignment stuff. Am I at a school that's going to get left out? What happens to some of these coaching jobs if we have consolidation, at the top, and you only have, maybe 40 or something schools in the upper division? I think a lot of them are concerned, and it's tough to separate sort of if you throughout the history of the sport, right? There's always been things people said, hey, are going to end the sport, right? Helmets were going to end the sport. The forward pass was going to end the sport. Desegregation was going to end the sport. Scholarship reduction going from 105 to 85. When national TV in 1984, when Oklahoma and Georgia sued to get the rights to go on national TV more frequently, the NCAA was going to do it. The sport, I think, continues to thrive because it has the built-in advantage of fandom. Like people did not attend the New York Giants school. Now, you may have grown up going to Giants games, but you went to Georgia. You went to Ohio State. It's very hard to break that fandom. And so I think given that rabid nature that is built in from such an early age, the sport's not bulletproof, but I think that really does help it be pretty kind of recession-proof.
All right. Barring the unforeseen, enjoy the next few weeks. Safe travels. And we'll talk to you in late August.
Sounds good, guys.
Bud Elliott. CBS Sports HQ 24/7, Cover 3, no cast, you name it, he's working. Follow him on Twitter at BudElliott3, BudElliott3. Cam Young, your leader, 7 under through 15. He has a 3-shot lead. Rory McIlroy's 4 under at the turn. Ernie Els is 4 under through 11. Bryson DeChambeau just birdied 18 to shoot a 3 under 69. And they showed it. So Koepka and DeChambeau, for whatever reason, we've seen them. Each
3 Koepka shots, 2 DeChambeau shots.
Right.
Nothing from Mickelson. He shot even par.
Right. Nothing from Poulter. He shot 3 under. Right. So there you have it. How many shots from LIV golfers so far in the coverage? Greg Wyshynski next.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Felipe, how long does it take for that 7 o'clock hour to get posted?
So I could post it right now, but because I take notes. So what I do is that when I post it, I have to put the time thing, and then I have to write down like a little paragraph. So
Okay. Once again,
you asked me a question.
thank you. So are we talking 8:15 or 10:15? Just tell me.
10:15.
Okay.
But I know you advertise it as he posts it right after the hour.
Well, somebody just asked. They missed Bud. They want to know when they can get it. So
I can get it. I can get it to you right now.
Well, so what should I tell them?
10:15.
We have Greg on right now. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'll post it while Greg's on. For those who are wondering, I upload it to a queue, and then I have to turn it to public. Because the queue, it's private.
No one's wondering. It's a very simple
it's
question.
just-
It's incredibly simple. What time does it go up?
Right, that's all.
If the answer is
There's not-
10:15, then it's
It's
10:15,
10:15.
Felipe.
Okay.
So look, you have to learn that when we ask you a specific question, just answer the goddamn question.
All right. There's not a time. There's not a specific
After
time.
the show is that's a specific time.
Yes.
Holy cow. It's not that hard, man. Liked it better yesterday when you just didn't talk.
I thought he was going to die yesterday. His coloring was terrible.
Yeah, but it was as pleasant of a show as we've had for months.
I'm guessing Poulter made a putt for Eagle on 9 because this must be a drivable par 4 because JT was just putting for Eagle. And they didn't show it.
They're hitting the ball 380 yards off the tee right now. God, I love the Muncie wear with the big peg. I want big penguin shirts.
Look at this. Cam Smith is driving it over the back of the green on 18. Unbelievable. Well, it stays on the green. He's going to have like 60 feet. Look at that sucker.
I got to see St. Andrews for myself. It looks so beautiful.
It looks amazing.
Incredible.
Although it's a lot.
Are you serious?
What?
I can get a big penguin shirt for $34.
Not bad. There's got to be a big penguin outlet in the outlets, no?
They have them at Saks. Usually you can find the Muncie wear stuff.
Okay. Got to call Greg here.
I need some big penguin in my life.
Who doesn't, Mark?
See? You understand.
listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the 8 o'clock hour to you. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us, whether you're in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte and Venice, Southwest Florida, Fort Myers, Naples. Thanks so much for listening. We just had Bud Elliott on last hour. If you miss any part of the show, go to floridasportsnetwork.com and download our podcasts. Sometimes they're posted, within the hour. Sometimes they're just posted after the show. But either way, it's up in the AM, if you know what I mean. We get to it before noon. You can download what you missed, floridasportsnetwork.com. Greg Wyshynski is kind enough to join us. You can follow him on Twitter at Wyshynski. He covers the NHL for ESPN, ESPN.com. Greg, you're referred to as a senior writer. I didn't think you were old enough to be a senior writer. Is that an experience thing?
All you got to be is old enough than the people you work with. Comparatively to like Emily and Kristen, I'm definitely the senior writer. I'm not I'm not ancient or anything here, but
we were hoping, kind of like when people get promoted, they tack a word onto it to justify the extra 10 grand. I was hoping that's what the senior was for.
I think it's a combination of being older than my coworkers and occasionally having senior moments when discussing.
Well done.
And they will start happening more frequently as you get older, Greg. I can assure you of that. In your estimation, Columbus the big winner or Ottawa? Who was the big winner yesterday?
First of all, as a Devils fan, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around Columbus being the big winner. I don't know how the hell that happened. It's still amazing to me. I feel like the Gaudreau thing and him going to Columbus is a byproduct of the Philadelphia Flyers being unable to create the cap space they needed to create in order to land him. There was a lot of indications yesterday that Gaudreau, who grew up in South Jersey and grew up a Flyers fan, was more than happy to join the Flyers if it could happen. But they didn't want to do the necessary work to clear the cap space, trading a first-round pick as a sweetener to get money off their cap. So Columbus it was. I think two teams really stand out for me as far as the big winners. One, obviously, is Ottawa. They did incredible work. Bringing in Giroux, it was something that we all assumed could happen because of his history with the city. But it's a really nice endorsement of what they're building there, that it's not simply just a geographic decision, but it's also one that says, hey, I think we've got a chance to do something here. To Brinkett from Chicago was thievery. Let's be honest, it was a great move for them. He's an elite goal scorer in this league. And they also kind of lucked into a pretty good situation of their goaltending where Cam Talbot gets all hissy-fitty with the Minnesota Wild about the goalie situation, and they're able to make a trade. And now with him and Forsberg, they got a good tandem. The other team is Detroit. I think that we all knew at some point Stevie Yzerman was going to be like, okay, it's time to turn the corner. And he decided it's this offseason. Andrew Kopp is a player I really like. Even at the end of his contract with them in 2027, he's still going to be a guy that does good work down their lineup if he's not a point-producing guy anymore. Perron, my God, if you're going to be a team that wants to contend, David Perron is the guy you want on your roster. They got Kubalik from Chicago. Ville Husso, I love. I think he's one of the better signings, the goalie from the Blues that they got in the trade and then signed. They built out their blue line. Yzerman did work, and we were waiting for it. And I think he feels like they've got a great collection of kids. It was time to give them some support, and it looks like Detroit is ready to turn the corner.
Greg Wyshynski covers the NHL for ESPN and ESPN.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at Wyshynski, Wyshynski. All right, let's keep it close to home for us for a second. Boy, the Lightning are doing it differently, and we keep waiting for when are they going to start losing guys, and for the most part, they're still keeping guys. Sergachev, Cirelli, Cernak all get 8-year deals, and not cheap. At some point, they're going to be left with 10 players, but that point's not going to be next year.
The window's open.
Right.
If the window's open, you've got to do what it takes in order to keep the window open. It's going to be open for the next few years, given the age of, Hedman, Stamkos, and Kucherov. And so they're doing what's necessary in order to make sure that they can try to win another one. And, seeing John Cooper after the Cup final and hearing his words, and, the sting from this one is palpable. Like, they really are upset that they didn't repeat because they knew the opportunity was there. A lot of it had to do with injury. And so they're motivated to win another one. And part of that is clearly targeting Chernak and Sergachev and Cirelli as being essential parts of that team and doing what's necessary to keep them around. The one that's fascinating here for me is Sergachev. By all accounts, with Ryan McDonough now a member of the Predators, it's going to be Sergachev who steps up in the lineup and fills that role. And so this salary for him seems commiserate with that position. If he fails in it, this contract could look a little different than what it looks like now. I think he's a terrific player. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's in any role you cast him and he's going to do well, but they're going to be looking for a specific thing from him, I think, the next season and the years after that. And he's going to have to step up and answer the bell. And if he does that, then I think that this contract makes a lot of sense. The other two, I think they just make a lot of sense on their face. I love those two players. But Sergachev in particular is going to be the one to watch.
Mark, Sergachev's making Hedman money. He better deliver.
There's no doubt there. I'm going to use your analogy back. You said the window's open. You got to take your shot. The Florida Panthers finally opened the window. How much did the little kid in the back playing with the automatic window shut it yesterday? Because they did not have a good day, Greg.
I'm still trying to figure out this Hedman money thing because honestly, Hedman's not making Hedman money. part of the reason the Lightning is that Stamkos and Hedman are like completely under market value.
Right.
And I mean, if you look around this league, that's what you need to do. That's why Nathan McKinnon's next contract's going to be fascinating for Colorado because he knows that he can't make like league maximum on a deal if they want to stay competitive. And yet he's been completely underpaid for several years. So that's just, a little sidebar on that one. The Panthers are in a pickle. I mean, like they're clearly, their focus right now, it seems like, is extending Jonathan Huberdeau, which sounds like it should happen. I think there's a lot of contentment between him and the team, and he likes being there. So if that happens, that'll be good news. That's a good pillar to build around. They lose Giroux. I mean, I think that wasn't going to be anything more than a rental at the end of the day, but they did make some overtures to try to keep him around. I don't think the money was going to work. And so, yeah, listen, I think they're still a really good team. It does feel like maybe they shot their shot and it didn't work out and they were humbled in the playoffs and maybe required a little bit more retooling. And right now it's like more players are walking out than walking in. I mean, the biggest news yesterday was the reuniting of the Stahl brothers, like Mark Stahl on a cheap defensive deal, and then Eric coming in on a tryout contract. So, it wasn't the best day for the Panthers. It wasn't the most inspiring day for the Panthers. I still think they're a really good hockey team, but there needs to be a little bit more work there done to, A, figure out what went wrong last year, and B, try to remedy it.
Yeah, just curious how they're going to get better. I mean, is Paul Maurice enough, quite frankly, or just the lesson learned from the playoff run enough? Hey, the Toronto Maple Leafs are trying something which is just absolutely fascinating to us. They're trying to win a cup without a goalie. This is something.
Well, that's why, I was just talking to somebody in DC earlier, and like they're signing a Darcy Kemper. Like Darcy Kemper is not a Vezina guy. Like he's not Chichurkin. He's not like Vasilevsky. He's not like great, but he's competent and he plays a lot of games and you know what you're getting with him, which is more than you can say for a lot of the goalies in this league right now, where teams can be acquiring guys that are constantly hurt or reclamation projects or guys that are backups that are trying to turn into starters. There just seems to be a lot of that going on in the league right now. And Toronto's a good example of it. I mean, in the last 3 years, they went from Freddie Anderson and Jack Campbell as their two goalies to Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov. I mean, that is a hell of a downgrade.
Yeah.
In the span of 3 years. The Murray thing is obviously the real intrigue here. Like, the analytics community has pointed to a stretch of games last year in which Murray looked really good. And if he could kind of capture that vibe for the Leafs, then maybe they've got something there. They're certainly going to insulate him well. Like they all know him from his days with the Sioux Greyhounds in Canadian junior hockey. They've got a goalie coach that knows him well within the system. Like they're confident that they can figure this out with him. And if they can, that's great. But that doesn't automatically mean he's going to be healthy all the time, which has really been one of the problems with Matt Murray. And it's kind of mind-blowing to think about how the Leafs went from goaltenders that were getting hurt last year in Jack Campbell and especially Peter Mrazek to now kind of hitching their wagon to a guy who doesn't seem to be able to stay healthy himself. It's not great, man. Like I said, it's like having a high-end elite luxury sports car and then the tires are pie crusts. Like, it just makes no sense why you would possibly want to do this when you have so much else going for you in that lineup.
That tweet got a laugh out of us yesterday, for sure, Greg. I loved that. Kadri, probably the best guy out there. Where do you see him ending up?
That's a great question. You know, he's taking his time a little bit here to see where the pieces fall. I can tell you that as we were, making calls yesterday in Bristol during our free agent coverage, there was a certain vibe that maybe Calgary could happen as a way to help ease the loss of Johnny Gaudreau. I think the Rangers are probably out on him after the Vincent Trocheck deal. That was gaining a lot of speed at times in the last week. One of the teams that was sort of a stealth team for him that I heard was Seattle, so keep that in mind. They like him maybe to come in, be the number one center, allow Matty Beniers and Shane Wright some time to develop. There's going to be options for him, and Colorado still could be one. I mean, the fact that they were still in this thing as late as they've been in the process tells me that there could still be a fit there for him to come back. I mean, look, if winning is the priority, I mean, go where you just won, right? So whoever's getting them, I think is getting a good player. I do feel that Kadri is someone who's turned the corner on his life to being a more mature and effective athlete. So, give him 4 or 5 years, watch him roll, and you'll do well for yourself.
Surprising Buffalo wouldn't maybe go that route. At some point they have to start winning. But Greg, as always, we appreciate your time and your insight. Have a great summer, and hopefully we can talk again when training camps open.
Well, boys, let me know when summer starts, and I will start to have a great one.
Will do.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Greg Wyshynski, who works for ESPN and ESPN.com and is a great hockey writer. And he's always been good to us over the years, and he's kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Ernie Els is 5 under. He's 2 off the lead. Cam Smith's the leader in the clubhouse at 5 under. Cam Young is the leader on the course at 7 under through 16.
They're going low because the conditions are there for it. Tiger tees off at 10. We'll do the pregame and tell. It's Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Right. God, the club, it's funny. I played with the club championship because I hit it pretty hard. And he's like, and I hit one drive. I don't hit my driver a lot. I hit 3-wood off the deck pretty much on every hole because the driver can go in a lot of fucking directions.
Okay.
And so I bang, and he just, for 2 holes, why aren't you hitting your driver? Just, well, why don't you get a new shaft? I mean, just all over me. It was just like, he goes, why are you hitting the driver there? Why aren't you hitting the driver there? Then I finally hit one. It was shit. I go, now do you know why I don't hit the goddamn driver? Because he's firing a 70 with a double.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is that true? JT was late, overslept,
No, I think they're just.
or
I
you,
think
or
they're
you
just-
just
they're
coming
just
up with
having a-
jokes as to why he looks so horrendous?
I think that outfit's on purpose. First off, when you're wearing pants, you shouldn't wear footy socks.
Right. It's so fascinating. So they've shown 3 shots from Brooks Koepka, who, by the way, is not contending. They showed 3 shots from Bryson DeChambeau, who is contending. 2 of the 3, his last 2 shots on 18. And they have not shown another shot from an LIV golfer.
And apparently, someone said Gooch has birdied the first 2.
Yeah, which would be
They
awesome.
never show him.
Miguel Cabrera stole third yesterday.
The day
Bless you.
before.
Yeah,
The day
that
before, yeah.
the Tigers put out a great. I think it was an Instagram post that I saw on Facebook. It was like something Miggy, the Magic Miggy or something like that, and they said now tied for 1,867th in stolen bases.
Well, and the dugout was giving him such a hard time. When Ricky Henderson stole third to set the all-time base record, he took the base out and held it up in the air. And the Tiger players were all telling him, take the base out and go like this.
That's great.
Gooch 2 under through 3. Come on.
Oh, no.
When's DJ tee off?
I have a great memory with Miguel Cabrera. Me and my dad, we saw him, and he was signing autographs for a kid. And my dad goes, in Spanish, he goes, "Yo, Miguel, you're looking skinny." And he goes, it was so
Like,
funny.
What?
Miguel, está flaco. And he goes,
That's funny.
He autographed a ball for my boy at a Tigers Rays game.
that's cool.
Yeah, that Jake still has.
One of the best hitters of all time.
DJ just went off. When he hit that tee shot and it was flaring right and it was way right at the target, did he just hit it on the road? Go.
That's nice little lag
That's
putt
pretty
there.
good.
Boy, he could birdie 18 for 64.
That's why I like Zalatoris right now. It's 1 over through 9. You better get on your horse. I mean, what's going to win this? 20?
Well, I said yesterday to Herrick there, do you think 20 under is going to win it? Because when the wind doesn't blow, 467s is really doable.
Hell yes.
And he thought that it was, still going to hold up and be more like 12 under. Established 1400s.
All I can think of in the 1400s is the Robin Williams bit. No, we're going to do it 18 times.
110 bunkers. That's fabulous. It's 6 per hole.
Coming back.
Tiger didn't hit one.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday morning. First round of the ESPN Championship. Cam Young is going to tap in for par on 17, and he is 7 under on the day, heading to the 18th hole, which they're driving today. So it is a birdie hole. Ernie Els on the course at 5 under. He's 52 years old. Remember Norman when he was 53? Was in the final group on Sunday, finished like 4th in this championship. We all know Watson 13 years ago at 59. If he parred 18, he would have won it at 59.
Ernie Els has it going right now.
Yes, he does.
Fantastic to see.
Cam Smith, leader in the clubhouse at 5 under 67. You know, it's interesting. He wins the Players, finishes top 3, I believe, at the Masters. He was in the final group. Rory passed him to finish second, but I believe he finished like T3 at the Masters. And then for the last 3 months, we haven't really heard much from him. You know, didn't contend at the PGA. Or the U.S. Open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, we forget about people really quickly.
Well, in this sport especially.
Scheffler was the hottest guy in the world in the first 4 months of this year, but Cam Smith was the second hottest.
100%.
And we just
But
pushed
if it goes away, that's
it. We're done. We're done with you. And so now,
and think about it. He started playing badly as the whole live golf thing's coming on. So then it was Rory and JT, and that's all we. And by the way, JT and Rory, who also got hot since then.
Right. So, but Cam Smith, 67, 5 under, leader in the clubhouse. Couple of 4 unders, including an amateur, a British amateur, Barkley Brown. What a great story that has to be. My goodness. So, the subplot for Miller and Moulton, because we're goobers and we like a good subplot or a made-up subplot, is unlike the U.S. Open, where none of the guys who had jumped to the LIV Tour played well at all. There's a handful already off to good starts in the Open Championship. Hardly any of them and any of their shots have been shown, at least in the States. We have no idea what they're doing, internationally.
But Ian Poulter, 3 under. Didn't see a shot.
He eagled 9.
Now, and that they may have shown that we were not up. We were not watching when that was on. But
they did not show it. He eagled 9 to get to 3 under, which at the time had him like tied for the lead or 1 off the lead. Right. Didn't show it.
DeChambeau 3 under. We saw 3 shots. His approach on the 15th and his 2 putts on 18 because he drove the green or really close.
But he posted a 3 under 69. But Phil Mickelson was 1 under for a good chunk of the day, finished even par. They did not show a single shot of Phil Mickelson. We've seen 12 shots of Shane Lowry.
That is correct.
But Koepka and DeChambeau, the only LIV golfers that we have seen the light of day from.
Now, Dustin Johnson's on his first hole, so we'll wait and see if we see any of his play. I doubt it.
Taylor Gooch birdied the first 2 holes. He's an LIV golfer now. Wonder if we'll see him.
Again, I doubt it. DJ's the one I'm most interested in. Will they show any of DJ if he plays remotely well?
But cloudy. The sun has occasionally peered through the clouds.
And it's blowing between, 10 and 15 miles an hour, which for these guys is nothing.
No. I will say they did just put a pretty funny graphic up on the screen. In golf, they always announce when it was, constructed,
A course architect when it was constructed, things of that nature.
Right. Okay. And so they put founded and next to it. And, it's always a precise year. When was the course built? 1938, the Donald Ross design. A Tillinghast, 1926. St. Andrews, founded 1400s, give or take. We don't know.
It's a good century for him, David. I don't know what to tell you.
It's been, Columbus had talked about it, so it was around. That's all we know.
Got to tell you, as someone who's when your teams are bad, and we've talked about this. When your teams are bad, it's just hard to get focused on whatever sport it is sometimes and dive in. Really nice to hear Greg Wyshynski when I said who the big winners were, and him to go Red Wings. They were very busy, and so nice to hear someone other than a Wings fan tell me that it was a good day.
Well,
for the Red Wings,
much like 2-3 years ago when the thought was the Panthers were the big winners. Dale Talon went out, spent some money. All right. And, who's the big winner? Oh, the Florida Panthers. Unfortunately, some of that money they threw around 3 years ago came back to bite them yesterday. They had to let some players walk.
And they are considered one of the losers in free agency, are the Florida Panthers, with what happened yesterday. So,
yes, I think the Lightning are big winners. I know they just lost Palat. Overnight, he signed officially with the New Jersey Devils. But when you consider, all right, name me a guy you would have traded for Palat. They re-signed Sergachev, who's now going to be their number 2 defenseman.
And they couldn't lose him when they traded McDonough. That was a calculated trade because they knew they were going to move him up.
Right. We're going with the younger guy.
Yes.
And we're going to pay him like Hedman. And they did. Cirelli and Chernak. In theory, Palat got what, 5?
Right.
6 for 30. So they signed Eric Chernak instead, 8 for 41.6, which is 5.2 a year. Would you rather have Chernak or Palat? I got to admit, I think I'd rather have Palat.
I think I would too, but how old's Chernak? Isn't he like 25?
And Palat's a little older?
31, I believe.
Right.
So, that's the reason they did that.
Right. So, but they kept Sergachev, Cirelli, and Chernak. And they had 4 big free agents. Lost Palat. Traded away McDonough, though. It's tough to argue today that the Lightning are better than they were when the season ended. They're healthier. Knock on wood, they played most of the playoffs without Braden Point, essentially. In theory, you have a healthy Braden Point next year. That'll be big.
And they've got to hope that some of the draft picks in the farm system comes up to fill out the back end of their lines. And this is the only way to do it in that league. With a hard cap,
right?
You've got to.
They kept Nick Paul.
Right. You've got to do it on both fronts, though. You've got to be able to, in fact, 3 fronts. You got to be able to sign free agents. You got to be able to keep your guys, and you got to hope you've got guys coming up to fill roles. And right now, Tampa is doing all 3. But no, David, I don't think they're as good right now as they were at the end of the year.
But I thought, considering all that they faced, I thought Breezewell, their general manager, did a terrific job. Now, there is no doubt, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5, whenever it's going to be, they are going to have to pay the piper. They've kicked the can down. But, there's a team who's got to hope that the cap goes up and goes up soon.
Breaking news. Dustin Johnson not only birdied the first hole, they showed it.
Whoa! Hey, what in the...
Telling you, there are some inter-office memos going on at NBC right now with some people getting in big trouble.
Is there a Twitter storm going on, or other people noticing what we've noticed? They showed DeChambeau birdie 18 for 69. They showed DJ birdie 1.
Can't believe Shane Lowry wasn't out there somewhere to make a bogey.
I know. Come on. Can't we see Xander Schauffele one more time? Man, Dustin Johnson. Was there a cutaway of Paulina? What's going on here? But Phil Mickelson, nothing.
At the end of the day, I think that's the one that Monahan is calling and telling them all.
Right.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care that he's won X number of majors. I don't care. Do not put him on the damn television.
Miller and Moulton. Tiger tees off in an hour and a half. I don't think he contends, by the way.
Neither do I.
A lot of people betting a lot of money on Tiger Woods, though. He has won here twice. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, Only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. You want to know where I want to be the fly on the wall? Jay Monahan's office. You know, we never did put up a poll question. Not that that should surprise anybody.
Tiger hasn't teed off.
Where does Tiger finish at the? How does Tiger do? Right. The old.
Yeah. Oh, contend.
Hour 1 and 2 posted
Make the
already.
cut,
So if you
not
missed Bud, you can
contend.
watch it. Go for it.
Missed the cut.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you want.
Look at this. They're showing his tee shot on 2. What the hell?
Oh. Now I got to remember my Twitter shut down on this. I don't know if Twitter's even working right now. I can't even put a question out because I can't get Twitter to work. Working on my phone. No, tweets aren't loading right now. I don't know if that's because I'm on this stupid Wi-Fi here. Good God. Oh, I'm on the right Wi-Fi. I don't think, is your Twitter working?
No.
Twitter's down. Twitter's down.
No shot, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You know that apparently Twitter's trying to sue Elon now for backing out of the
Yes.
Twitter deal? Trump called him another shit artist.
Wow, somebody in San Diego texting us right now that moved from here.
What was that?
Someone texting us from San Diego that listens to the show on the podcast.
Yes. This is regularly.
San Diego.
He's listened for years.
Pretty sure it translates to. No, you don't get that reference.
Yeah, I do.
No.
I get it.
Yeah.
It just
I'll leave it there.
Sometimes we all think that something we say is funnier than the people who hear it.
Yeah.
Trust me, when you're married, your wife thinks that all the time.
All right.
my wife says to me all the time, "Can I tell you something funny?" And I answer her with, "I don't know." I do it all the time.
That's good.
And she stays, which is amazing.
Like, she
Can I
keeps
tell you a
going,
funny story? I'm like, I'm not
I
sure.
don't
I'll tell you
know.
when you're done.
Mark wants to go, I don't know. I've known you 12 years. I don't think so. My money's on no.
After that point, you just gotta keep it.
I love you and all, but my money's on no.
I thought you'd like that answer.
That's got to be married you got a little while to be able to pull that off.
Stay classy, San Diego.
This for 64.
Should be.
Oh yeah, I looked up East Carolina's football stadium earlier. It's pretty big.
Their baseball stadium is ridiculous.
Oh, I went to UCF's campus recently. It is huge.
Oh, yeah. The schools,
It's nice.
They're the second biggest undergrad in the country.
Yeah, I know, but
Arizona State won.
Is it?
it's a sweet campus, though.
I thought UCF was one. That's why
Okay.
UCF on the rise.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until we're out of here. If you're listening in Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice, and Lake City and surrounding areas. We are following the Open Championship. I thought I'd been pretty good today in referring to it consistently as the Open Championship. When I'm sorry, it's the British Open. It is. It's the U.S. Open. It's the British Open. It's the Canadian Open. It's the Australian Open. It's the British Open.
Okay. Bothers you more than it bothers me.
I think it bothers me more than it bothers most. Cam Young, he's a rookie on the PGA Tour. He's had a bunch of top 3 and top 5 finishes this year, yet to win. Just made a 5-footer for birdie on 18. Little 8 under 64. Thank you very much. Have a feeling that's going to hold up. I mean, there are good rounds out there. You got Ernie Els on the course at 5 under. Yes, that's right. 52-year-old Ernie Els. You got Rory, who's 4 under, but he's got 35 feet for eagle. So you figure he'll at least get down to 2 and get to 5 under and still have a half a dozen holes left to play. And, we got, Tiger's just getting to the range now. He's teeing off in an hour and 20 minutes, and we still got a whole bunch of golfers to play, and the conditions could get easier even.
Right, but
64 is
64 is 64.
Right. It's pretty darn good.
What a round.
Yeah. Did he make a bogey? I don't know if he did. We had a funny moment during the break. They showed Lee Westwood, and Lee made the jump a few weeks ago to the LIV series, and that's been really what we have followed more than anything else this morning is how many shots will they show of golfers on the LIV series. And it took Lee Westwood's 6th birdie of the day for them to finally show him making a birdie.
I mean, just think about that for a moment. A guy made an early doubled his second hole to go 2 over.
Right.
Battles back to get it to 4 under with 6 birdies. They show the 6th.
They did. They went, oh, man, we got to show this. He goes to 4 under. He's tied with Rory. He's on the first page of the leaderboard. We got to show this. No, really. Call Jay Monahan and say, sorry, we got to show this. We didn't show any of the guys. We didn't show Poulter getting a 3 under. Nothing to him all day. All right. But, 4 under is a different story. We got to show 4 under. Then we go back to Shane Lowry at 2 over.
So DJ with an early birdie, and they showed that, which was another complete mistake done by television cameras.
Somebody's getting fired. Come on. Show him that early. Big deal. I mean, he's not Henrik Stenson, for goodness sakes. I mean, they showed Stenson teeing off on 1, European Ryder Cup captain, former Open champion. I mean, all right, fine. I get it. So that's what we're following. NHL free agency damn near came and went in less than 6 hours. It is funny how sports operate. NBA, there's rumors for a week. There's unbelievable tampering going on. Deals that are done and put in a drawer 4 days in advance when they're not allowed. All right. The NHL, you hear like 2-3 rumors in the morning. At like 8, 9 a.m. when you're having breakfast, if you're really into the league, you're like, I'm hearing rumors about Kadri to the Rangers. Did you hear that?
Yeah, there was about 4 or 5 for sure. Bob McKenzie was big on it from Canadian television throughout, and he was right on all of them.
Right.
The Colorado goalie going to Washington, the kid going to Detroit, the kid going to – but the one that, Johnny Gaudreau's the one everybody thought it was the Devils, the Flyers.
Right.
And Columbus comes out on top.
But it started at noon and pretty much by dinner. And damn near early bird, too. I mean, it was done. It was over. Everybody had signed. That's it. Thanks. In fact, I was listening to a guy on NHL radio. Don't make fun of me.
I've learned to just accept you for who you are, David. And that is someone who listens to NBA and NHL radio.
On free agency days, you're damn right. Draft days, free agency days.
Is the baseball draft coming up for you this week?
Yeah, it's tough to listen. I actually listened this week. They were breaking down high school pitchers. And I'm like, listen, I'm a goober. I normally love this stuff. I have no idea who you're talking about here. Some 17-year-old kid from Marina Del Rey. I mean, come on.
No different than the hockey draft.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're these small Western Canadian cities. Yeah, I don't know. They intrigue me more.
Flin Flon and Moose Jaw are better than.
Right. I imagine the kid hasn't seen his family in 2 years. All right. Him and a couple of his buddies have been traveling, in a beat up Vega.
Family for 2 years.
In a beat up Vega around Canada. Spending 6 months with one family, then 6 months with another. I don't know. The story just seems more romantic to me in hockey. But yes, I was listening to NHL radio yesterday, and a host said something which is pretty funny, at least to those of us that do this for a living. He goes, well, we had a show planned for tomorrow, but I think this whole thing's wrapped up by 5 o'clock. He goes, so I don't know if we're going to replay the show tomorrow or just have to do the whole show again. He goes, but I don't think there's going to be any news tomorrow. And he's damn near right.
A little on course that's fun. Victor Hovland is in one of the pot bunkers right now. He has spent 5 minutes trying to figure out where he's going to putt the ball to so he can hit his next shot out of the bunker. He's literally up on the lip. It's his second spot that he's been in the pot bunkers where he's had to have some crazy lies and get on one knee to get it out earlier in the day.
Right. In the first 9, he had 1 foot in the bunker and a knee on the lip, if you will, his left knee on the lip, and he was in there and he kind of hacked it out sideways and made bogey.
And now he is literally with a putter in the bunker trying to figure out if he's going to putt it back to a spot where he can hit it.
This is like in miniature golf when your ball is like 3 inches from the wood.
Well, yeah, but the difference is in miniature golf, you get 1 club head from the obstacle.
Well, that depends on how you guys play. I mean, you get a
you play them as they lie?
Super competitive match.
Wow.
All right.
I go by house rule. I mean, local rules say you get 1 club or 1 club head.
So if it's up against the wood, you give it the
club head.
The club head of the putter. So that's like what? 4
inches or so.
Okay. Well, that's basically what Hovland has. Did he just take a drop?
I believe he just took a drop.
So instead of trying to putt it because he was up against the wood, on the windmill hole. That's where he was. He was up against the wood on the windmill.
Missed the windmill to the right, and it was stuck right up against the wood.
And he was worried that he wasn't going to get the ball out far enough. So he just took a drop in a bunker, 350-yard hole. There's one pot bunker right in front of the green. He drove it into it. He took a drop. He's hitting his third shot.
So he has been very unlucky thus far and is still 2 under par through 12 holes. And he has not played anything special lately. And you and I are both big fans of Hovland and think there's a lot of majors ahead of him.
Yeah. He's been rumored, by the way. The LIV series has been all over him, and he has so far said no. They've been all over Hideki Matsuyama, who so far has said no. How much longer can Ricky Fowler say no? I mean, if he can't
Put
keep
it this
his
way,
tour
David,
card this
how
year,
much longer are they going to be asking Ricky if he wants to join?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Because he's a bit of a name, but that's about it right now. I mean,
if you can't keep your tour card, why would you want him? Rory, by the way, 2-putted on 12 for birdie. He's 5 under. And he's playing as well as he's scoring. I mean, it's been damn near an impeccable round of golf. I don't think he has a bogey so far through 12. But 52-year-old Ernie Els is 5 under, tied for second. That's great.
it is. If only he was on the Live Tour. But that's a little what's going on at St. Andrews as we're paying attention to the first round doing the show today. We've talked a little hockey. We've talked a little college football as well. Going back to some of the stuff Bud talked about, how safe do you think the ACC is right now? And for how long?
I thought you brought up the interesting factor in this. Most people, and the ACC certainly feels, that their contract with their 15 members is rock solid enough that schools won't leave because it'll be too costly. However, if 8 of the 15 schools in the conference decide to leave, then the contract is null and void, and basically everybody pays nothing. Now, you have to have other conferences who want 8 of your teams. And it doesn't seem as if there's enough schools that the Big Ten and SEC combined would want. And you said, yeah, Bud, and we mean Bud Elliott, by the way, who joined us and will be joining us every Wednesday throughout the football season. What about the Big 12? And see, West Virginia would love Pitt and Virginia Tech.
Love.
Would beg the Big 12. Could you please? It's literally, there are 3 games that West Virginia wants to play every year. Pitt, Virginia Tech, and Penn State. And obviously Penn State's in the Big Ten. But the other 2 are in the ACC. And it's kind of like, hey, you want to make us bigger and we think better. Now, let me ask you, you're running the Big 12. And remember, they got a new commissioner. Guy's been on the job.
First thing he said is we're open for business, by the way.
He's been on the job a week.
Yeah, and we're open for business.
Right.
In his introductory presser.
His second full day of work, he had the meetings with the Pac-12 schools about potentially joining his conference. I mean, that's how aggressive this new commissioner is willing to be. You're the Big 12 commissioner. And let's assume Clemson, North Carolina, Miami, Florida State, they're not available to you.
Here's the thing. It would be one of them could be. Hear me out. Virginia and North Carolina are attractive to both conferences. So we think.
And by both conferences, you mean the SEC
and the Big Ten. If the SEC is going to take 2, the Big Ten perhaps could take 3 if Notre Dame comes.
And 2 if they don't.
So North Carolina, Virginia, Clemson, Florida State, Miami.
That's 5. So now you need 3 to go to the Big 12. If you're the Big 12, Are there schools there that you truly believe will get whoever your new media partner is going to be, to get them to throw enough money on top of the pile extra so that when you start divvying up the pie, everybody's still making what they were before you added the ACC schools?
All right. The three, if I were the Big 12, that I might be the most interested in, because I think West Virginia would be lobbying hard for Pitt and Virginia Tech.
Of course they would.
Louisville.
Well, and that's goes back, the Big 12 really wanted Louisville. And at the end of the day, they chose the ACC.
But if there are 7 teams leaving and Louisville's the 8th.
Okay.
Because I don't think they'd have an invitation from anyone else.
All right. But so that's your first school? That's your first school. And then you would take Pitt and Va-Tech?
No, I'd take Pitt and Va-Tech first, and then I'd take Louisville. I mean,
you would leave Duke, you would leave NC State, you would leave Georgia Tech, you would leave Syracuse, BC, you would leave that Wake Forest. You would say, yeah, they don't interest me.
Maybe North Carolina State. I know Duke should interest you, but boy, you brought up something to me, and it hasn't been able to leave my head. They're nothing as a football school, and we know that. What are they as a basketball school post Coach K?
I mean, it will be fascinating going forward if Kansas is somehow, some way gets left out. How sexy are they? Because they're a basketball school. Duke's a basketball school. See, North Carolina plays football. And they're serious about it. And they can win at a high level. Maybe not at an elite level, but they can win it. They can get to 10 wins every year.
But they think they are on the cusp of being someone who can get to the elite level.
Right. They look at Clemson and go, well, hell, if they could do it, we can do it.
Bingo.
Duke, no. We all know that's a pipe dream. So I actually think nothing's going to happen. Maybe a Pac-12 breaks up and those schools leave for the Big 12. But I actually think SEC, Big 10, I think they're holding tight.
Until Notre Dame does something.
Yeah.
I don't see any movement unless Notre Dame does something.
And then obviously they'll have to bring one school at least to get a round number, because Notre Dame would make 17. And so then you decide, are we going to 18 or are we going to 20?
And are you going east or are you going west?
Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. The bonus hour is next.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts.
FLGolfCarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, FLGolfCarts.com. FLGolfCarts.com. Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. There we go.
Thank you, Chris.
What do you think? Top 10, make the cut, not make the cut for Tiger? Top 25. You want to do top 10?
Can we just leave it as contend?
Yeah. 10, make the cut. That's the cut.
Felipe, if you were the Knicks, would you trade RJ Barrett in a Donovan Mitchell deal?
No. Donovan is a great player, but, and I know this seems like I'm asking for a lot, but he needs to show me more. The way that he has shut down the stretch on defense during some of the biggest games of his life is a little concerning. And I know that he's on a way higher level than RJ Barrett, but RJ's
not a good shooter, though. He's a scorer, but he's not a shooter.
But that can improve.
And
he has a good sense of the game.
He does, and he can absorb contact.
Yes.
And I understand.
He's tough.
I know what I'm asking.
Bigger,
I know what I'm asking.
But no, I think that's their future, It's the future of the Knicks. Now,
so it
would sell a lot of tickets.
You this. Would you rather the future, if you're running them, be RJ Barrett as opposed to
Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
Well, Donovan would sell more tickets.
Well, the Knicks don't have to worry about selling tickets. The Knicks are sold out now.
That's a good point.
So just think about it.
I don't know.
The reason why I would do it is you'd have to give up. If you throw RJ Barrett in, you give up less.
Will you give up RJ? What else? What's the package?
Not much more. Probably Quentin Grimes and 3 first-round picks, and they've got 7 in the next 3 drafts.
You think that's all it would take?
Yeah, I think RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and 3 firsts.
Keep Quickly, keep Randall, keep Toppin. I didn't like the Obi Toppin pick.
I hated it.
I was like, what? Come on. Knicks are stupid, man.
Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's the bonus hour on this Thursday, the first round of the Open Championship. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Twitter was down. It was down globally, too. I mean, it's just, that's not a regional thing, it's Twitter.
Really?
It's a big
You mean
deal.
it just didn't go out in Florida?
I mean, 44 billion is what it supposedly went for. It's kind of a big deal. I don't know if you're aware of that. No, it's not a regional thing. It's a global thing.
Thank you for that.
So, it was down, I don't know, it was hour and a half.
We'll all make it. In fact, we all got through it just fine.
I know. The world continued to rotate on its axis and everything. But so I have no idea what the NBA did with Twitter down for an hour and a half. Thank goodness it was early in the morning.
Yeah, the NBA doesn't wake up until noon.
I mean,
so one thing about that league is a midnight to midnight top league.
Got that right. Plus, not only that, the whole league's out in Vegas. So, add a few hours to it. But Cam Young, your leader of the British, with an 8 under 64. Cam Smith tied for second in the clubhouse with a 5 under 67. But Ernie Els and Rory McIlroy are the two on the course. Both former Open champions. One guy 33, the other 52. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one in a time capsule right now.
Yeah.
Jetting back to the 90s for crying out loud. That is
awesome,
absolutely amazing that Ernie Els got it going like that first round at St. Andrews.
5 under through 14 for Ernie, 5 under through 12 for Rory, who could be, par 5 here. He's kind of screwed it up. He'll be lucky to make birdie here. Don't think he will. But off to a good start, though. We've talked. I mean, Rory's had many a bad first round during this 8-year winless stretch in majors.
And Rory will, with a great lag putt, will bogey the 13th and then head to the par 5 14th next. So he'll drop. He will drop to 4 over. They are obviously, as you know, it's the outward 9. They're 14 under as a plane. Everybody playing is 14 under going out, 22 over coming in.
Okay,
just how the winds go. You're downwind going out. Although they're driving 18 coming in, which, I mean, could you imagine someone making a 2 on 18 to win the British Open?
Well, Paul Lawrie made eagle today. He had 4 feet for eagle.
Which means someone could make a 1 on a par 4. I mean, they're all hitting the green.
There have been multiple eagles on the par 4 9th in which guys are driving. It's right around 350. And the ground is really firm.
If you followed any of it on the Golf Channel or Twitter or anywhere else, there are videos out there. I've been watching, I get down my TikTok hole every once in a while, and they've already forwarded some videos there. Guys literally during the practice round bouncing the ball back up to their hand. Throwing it down and then catching the ball as it bounces off the turf. Think about that.
Is the ground hard? No, not the concrete, the ground. No, that's the middle of the fairway, sir.
So
Yes.
they're going to go really low. And I guess if we're not going to get carnage and 40-mile-an-hour winds and sideways rain, then let them drive par 4s and let's have some fun this week.
Well, and it looks as if the weather's going to hold off all week. Various degrees of wind, but right now there is not a storm. There is not a session in which the forecast is 30-plus mile-an-hour winds and tough conditions, which is a shame. Because let's face it, they call it British Open weather for a reason. Kind of want some of it. I mean, cloudy and 64 isn't going to do it. I mean, otherwise we could play in Portland if we wanted to. I mean, come on now. Give me a little British Open weather, guys. That's what I'm tuning in for.
It looks that way because it's gray. but there are no winds and no rains, and it's
Right.
not nearly at the temperature that we would like to see. But again, Cameron Young, 64, 8 under. He is your leader right now.
How about this? The guys who are in first and second, although Ernie's tied for second, but the first two guys on the leaderboard are both named Cameron.
It's a very country club.
Well, that is true.
It's also a very yacht club.
But I mean, what are the odds of that? He did it again yesterday. Ohtani. And I know for some of you go, oh, man, you talk about him again. I got to be honest. I don't think we, and by we, I mean everybody, is talking about him enough.
There's not many other better things to talk about in baseball.
Forget baseball.
Forget baseball. In sports.
He did it again. By the way, the Angels are 3-10 in their last 13 games.
That's the hard part about this. As great as he is, they are a grease fire.
The 3 games that they've won in their last 13, the 3 started by Ohtani. He won his 6th straight start last night. And this is one of the worst teams in baseball now. I mean, Mark, look up their record.
That's where I'm going.
And a reminder that the Angels at one point this year were 20-10.
Since that point, they have gone 19-40.
So they are 39-50?
Correct.
Okay. 19-40. I mean, that's less than winning 1 out of every 3. That's usually worst team in the league type record for over a third of a season. So think about it, during that 19-40 stretch, they've just won 6 in a row thanks to Ohtani.
They only have a better record than the Royals, Tigers, and A's in the American League.
And I'm guessing they have a better record than only the Nats in the National League, or are they ahead of the Reds also?
Nats, Reds, Cubs.
Okay.
And they are tied with the Diamondbacks. Exact same record.
They only have 6 more wins than the Reds.
And the Reds had that 1-20 stretch.
Yeah.
12 strikeouts last night. He won his 6th straight start. Oh, yeah. By the way, big hit in the game. 2 RBI triple from Ohtani in the 4th.
That's the other thing. I'm curious because he had a triple the other night again. I mean, nobody hits triples.
He's doing it himself.
They're 3-10 in their last 13. The 3 wins are when he has started. They haven't named the starter for the All-Star game yet, have they?
Weird how they're waiting this long.
I mean, don't you? Listen, I would love for the kid who grew up in Cape Coral, Shane McClanahan, and you and I both think that Major League Baseball should follow Jim Bowden, former general manager, now part of MLB Network and MLB Network Radio. His idea is start the young guys in the first inning, but load up the veteran stars in the second and third so that people know who the first 3 pitchers are and when they're going to be, and they'll likely stay around and watch.
By the way, he's not leading, but last year Ohtani led the league in triples. He had 8 triples last year. He's a DH pitcher. Just nobody hits triples anymore.
All right, first off, because nobody cares about the Angels. However, if you're running that franchise and all of a sudden the owner comes in and says the GM, we can only keep 1. Ohtani or Trout, who are you keeping?
Ohtani.
I mean, come on. You do have to laugh at that because an hour and a half ago, the other guy was the best player in baseball.
I understand. Who are you keeping?
I'm not hedging. I just want to say Ohtani is only under contract for another year and a half. So my thing would be I'm keeping Ohtani if I can sign him. I mean, I got Trout locked up for.
I got you, but that's not.
Okay.
Wait, I'm asking you. I don't give a damn about the contracts. I don't care if one signed for an hour and the other signed for 74 years.
Right.
By Satan. What I'm asking you is
Ohtani.
Thank you.
He's 3 years younger also. So if in theory I can keep the guy I choose long term, I'm not going to lose him in 18 months and look foolish, where I go from having both of them to having none of them. So we can keep one of them. Trout's under contract long term. Ohtani's not. Ohtani's 3 years younger. I'm going to say it again. If this was an NBA team, I mean, in a way, the Angels or the Utah Jazz. They had Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell. They just traded Rudy Gobert. They're seriously entertaining the idea of trading Donovan Mitchell. They are tearing it down. They went as far as they could go. They got to one conference final. They made the playoffs like 5 years in a row. They've decided with this group, this is it. We're tearing this thing down. The Angels have only made the playoffs once, and I think they've only had like 2 winning records during Trout's tenure. I mean, it's embarrassing.
When you set aside the fact that Rudy Gobert is grossly overrated, that's a pretty good analogy.
But, I mean, if you think about it, if you're the Angels right now, listen, it's not going to be popular at all. And, like, they drew like 28,000 last night with Ohtani pitching.
Of course, they better.
On a Wednesday night. Now, and they drew 28,000 the night before with Ohtani not pitching, which I'm thinking about that. He was worth like 700 people at the box office. That in and of itself is amazing to me. Should be 7,000.
Like 2 days ago, you were talking about Ohtani, if he was in the Marlins, if he'd sell tickets. Think about it this way. Ichiro sold a couple more tickets when he was in the Marlins.
Yes.
Imagine Ohtani.
Right. But, I mean, I could walk in right now and make the case, listen, Ohtani's got a year and a half left. You really think we're going to be able to keep him? Because you're already paying Rendon $35 million a year to be injured at third, and you're paying Trout $43 million a year. And Ohtani's going to cost you $50, which means you're going to spend $130 million for 3 guys. So how about we go the other way? How about we trade one of them, or, quite frankly, we trade them both? Because what we're doing ain't working. And why don't we just start over?
David, on the surface, that sounds ludicrous. It just does, because you're getting rid of such good players.
Great players, right?
But I think I'd be in the room going, the crazy guy over there's got a point, because we're 39-50 with them. And you could fleece teams.
And by the way, I mean, we don't have a lot of flexibility here. It's not like the roster is going to be a whole lot better next year. So what are we doing? Ohtani, you'd have max trade value if you traded him now, because teams would get him for at least 2 runs. Get him for this year, stretch drive and postseason, and then all of next year. And then in theory, have a leg up to signing him. I mean, come on. You put him on the market? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
You
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
One under through 3. Oh, wow. Not a good first putt when you got 20 feet from par.
You know, CJ, the Canes are doing a great job. We're killing it right now. And yes, we. W-E. I've waited my whole life for this. Come on now. Top 5 QB in 5 years. Mahomes, Herbert, Allen, Burrow, and we'll see if Lamar can stay healthy, but if not him,
By the way, we're a segment away from not mentioning the National Football League in the entire show.
ooh,
Is there anything to mention?
No.
I have a hot take for you, Canada. Derek Carr. How old's Derek Carr? Once all these old heads are out, there's not going to be many good quarterbacks left.
Yes, there are.
When Rodgers
We've never developed the position like we do now.
or like elite quarter,
We've never developed the position like we do now.
but
Did you think Justin Herbert was going to be a top 5 quarterback 5 years ago? No, you didn't, because you didn't know who he was. Okay? So stop.
yeah. But he says top 5 quarterbacks
Yeah,
in 5
I
years.
see it.
One of them, yeah, but that's the thing. That's a good point. One of them is probably someone I don't even know right now.
Correct.
Could be,
Or it could be Zach Wilson. You
or-
don't know.
or Caleb. What's his name? Caleb Smith from
Listen,
or Caleb whatever.
the Canes should be USC. They should. I mean, USC doesn't have an on-campus stadium. They got the Coliseum. And they're a private school in the middle of a unbelievably rich
Oh my
recruiting
gosh.
area.
The moment you're on live TV talking about that hot weather could lead to rolling blackouts and the power goes out in the studio, that's money.
Yeah, Mello, I will say, Felipe from 5:30 to 8:30 yesterday looked horrendous. Was as white as you can be. We even joked on the air. Some color was returning to his face, a red hue, and we didn't know if that's like when you're burning up and you become red, or if colors are beginning to return to your face. I walked in this morning, took a look at him. He looked great. His first words were, quote, "God bless antibiotics."
Yeah, drugs are amazing.
That was
Crazy.
That was the life lesson that Felipe learned in the last 24 hours.
People get like scared, like, oh,
Pharmaceuticals are good.
I laugh when people get scared, like, oh, another species of animal will take. When they learn how to harness chemicals to benefit the insides of our bodies.
DJ had to go sideways.
I got Flat Earther over here talking about chemicals.
Flat Earther, I'm talking about drugs. They're amazing when taken responsibly.
No, it was a sickness. Nice to see Shane Lowry make a bogey.
God, he's so thick. I feel like a trumpet should be
We've
playing
seen
every time.
20 shots of Shane Lowry tonight. Not one of Phil flipping Mickelson.
Oh,
Gooch.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Miss any part of the show? Usually in the hour immediately afterwards. By then it's up. floridasportsnetwork.com. But Elliott on in our 7 o'clock hour. Greg Wyshynski on at the top of our 8 o'clock hour, talking a little college football and a little hockey. NHL free agency was yesterday, and just about anybody who's anybody signed within the first 12 hours of free agency. It's like Nazem Kadri today. That's about it. I mean, a few other guys will sign, but he's basically the only name that's out there. Lightning fans, sorry, overnight you lost Palat. Palat signed with the Devils. $6 million a year for 5 years. They lost out on Johnny Gaudreau. You knew they were going to pay for somebody. If I was them, I'd buy Kadri too. Because apparently, like Toronto, they're not interested in a goalie. There's a couple of teams out there that are trying to win without a goalie. I wish them luck.
Toronto has, as Greg Wyshynski said, a luxury car lineup with pie crusts for tires.
Just, if they win, congratulations. I wish them the best. Hats off to the Lightning, keeping as much of the team together as they can. Next year, reportedly, they have like $4 million in cap room for about 15 guys. Thought they something like 8 guys take up $70 million next year. So the other 12 or 14 guys have like $14 million. So obviously, they'll have to pull another trade like they did Ryan McDonough this year. They're going to have to
renegotiate to take somebody to take a pay cut,
or just release them and pay them off. But they kept Sergachev, Cirelli, Cernak. That's after keeping Paul. So they lost Palat, but they're going to make another serious run out of it. They still got that goalie, right?
Last time I checked.
Okay, they'll be there.
And if you have one of those.
Right. Unlike what Toronto thinks.
No.
It's really helpful at the end.
They think they're grabbing Matt Murray from 2010. I don't know what it is that they're thinking with this.
It's not the Matt Murray that won the 2 cups for the Penguins. That's a long time ago. It's 5 and 6 years ago. He's not healthy enough to play. He's played 45 games total the last 2 years. What are they thinking? All right. I digress. Miller and Moulton. Do you agree with what Mike Gundy said? Oklahoma State football coach, Big 12 Media Days yesterday and today. And Gundy was the star of yesterday. He was very quotable. He just said Bedlam's ending in 2 years. He said, our schedule's set through 2033, and they don't seemingly have any interest in playing us. Not that we have any openings right now to play them. Now,
you can make openings.
And if you're Oklahoma State, don't you make an opening?
You have to, I think.
But
it is with these. This is something that I think we have to pay a lot of attention to. With conference realignments again, 2 of the storylines from Big 12 Media Days was Bedlam ending and the backyard brawl happening again, as the Pitt coach was doing cartwheels over the fact that they get to play Pitt. Now, it's a non-conference game. They're playing a couple of them. I think they get Penn State back on the schedule as well. But he flat out said, I'm not playing 2 non-conference rivalry games on the road in the same year. So you've got to work this the right way, if you will.
Right. I mean, we want to play them both, but we don't want them to both be at home one year and both be on the road the next. We want to split it up. And I think we can all understand that.
But I think Oklahoma State should do everything in their power. And I get what he's ticked.
Well, sure. But one of the things he also said yesterday was, I don't even know why Oklahoma and Texas are allowed in the meetings. And he was at times joking, but at times he said, now hold on a second. If you all, where you worked and what have you, and somebody announces that they're leaving, well, why let them for the next 2 years know all your intellectual property? Why didn't you just say, I think this just happened in NASCAR. Tyler Reddick is a really good young driver. And he announced, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, that he's leaving RCR in a year and a half. I mean, not at the end of this year. He's leaving in a year and a half. And RCR was taken aback, and they sent out a release that said, well, we'll do the best we can, although the timing of this sucks. They did not pull any punches. But I mean, if you're
No. I see exactly what in Gundy's analogy is perfect, because we've all been on. Well, not all of us. Usually, David and I get escorted out of buildings, but I'm guessing some of you have quit a job and said, "I'm quitting at this date and I'm going somewhere else." Why would you let them in on meetings, particularly if you're leaving to go to another company?
I mean, in our business, usually when they do that, they say, "Well, you can leave right now." I mean, well, no. I'll fulfill my contract. No, you can leave right now. But I mean, like this racing team. I mean, why do you let him continue to show up at the meetings? It's kind of like, by the way, practice is at 1. You can get in and run your laps.
Yeah,
or what
Texas
have
and Oklahoma, you're in our conference, but don't bother showing up at media days.
No. And that's what Gundy said. Gundy said, I don't even know why we invite them to these things. Why are they allowed in the meetings? They're leaving. Gundy said, I actually wish they'd leave sooner. He goes, we'd all make money.
They.
Right. Well, it's $80 million apparently for them to leave before 2025. $80 million. And they're not willing to pay it. And so Big 12 keeps them around. You know me, Mark. I'm a blankety blank when it comes to this stuff.
Oh, you'd have kicked them out. They'd be gone. You'd have.
Well, no, I'd keep them in the conference.
Right.
But no, you're not attending a single meeting. No. Well, we're not going to know what's going on. We'll send you the notes. You could read the press releases, just like everybody else. Well, we're members. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you know what they are, basically? They're LIV golfers. I mean, let's be brutally honest. What are Oklahoma and Texas to the Big 12?
They're the live golfers. You're absolutely right.
Right. I mean, one of them's Phil, and I guess the other's what, DJ?
That's about right.
Yeah. But you're dead to us. To us.
Boy, is Phil really dead to the tour.
Wow.
I mean, just for the record, he did shoot even par today. They did not show a single shot.
I mean, they just showed Taylor Gooch lag up a 40-footer for a tap-in par.
We've seen Westwood, DeChambeau, Koepka, DJ. And Mickelson's putting for birdie to go 1 under on 18, and they don't show it.
Nothing. Now, I will say, I don't think you will see a single Patrick Reed shot, even if he makes the cut all 4 days. Because unlike the others, he's wearing LIV sponsorship. Like Mickelson, I saw one picture on Twitter. He had a Open Championship hat, and he had like a black, it looks like a T-shirt, and then a black little, vest jacket on top of it. But no logos anywhere except the British Open hat that he was wearing. But Patrick Reed's got an LIV golf hat.
Well, and
he's
who
got it
wants
on
to see Patrick Reed anyhow?
Well, but I'm just saying, unless he is in the top 5, you will not see a Patrick Reed shot. He might have to ace a par 4 or have a double eagle on a par 5, I think, for you to see a Patrick Reed shot.
Everybody else okay with that? Just checking.
That'd be funny if Phil aces at hole. They have to show that.
They don't have to do anything. And they've shown right now that they are going to do whatever it is that they want to do. You would think so.
And not only that, people, like Phil still got huge cheers at the U.S. Open from the crowd. Huge cheers.
Here?
Yeah, in Boston. He got huge cheers.
No, but I'm saying, you think I'll get cheers here?
I don't know, because we read that Ian Poulter got booed.
And that's their guy.
I know.
Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Jeff, that event's still a PGA Tour event, and we have no idea because the tour schedule for next year has not come out yet, and that's usually on their calendar, and it's not. Oh, they did. Okay, let's see. Philly, go back to your other side.
See the picture of Kyle Lowry?
No,
He looks jacked.
that's
He
awesome.
doesn't look fat anymore.
That's
Who's that?
Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
He almost fined him for not meeting the dietary needs. So he got ripped.
Where will
you were just sick. Go over there. Keep your germs away. You've been sick for 2 days.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm on antibiotics. Don't trade for KD or Kyrie. Bring Kyle back. Run this team back. We were a game away from the finals. Even though I hate Tyler Hero, don't trade him. Just keep him. I don't hate him. I'm bothered by him sometimes. He's a hoe. Big hoe.
It would be fascinating, Jiff, if they did. We've talked about that a little bit, that they should do something for women. Would the women even accept them because of the way Saudi Arabia treats women? It's a fascinating question, Jiff.
I don't think they would. Fam, the Knicks? Who do the Heat need to get from the Knicks? Oh, I'm stupid. They have more to offer for Mitchell than the Knicks. They meant offer to the Knicks. Yeah, I'm going to stay at my buddy's house. Mark, if I need to keep like one thing in your garage, can I?
It depends what it is.
Just like a little piece of furniture?
What's a little piece of furniture?
Like
I don't have a lot of room.
about this wide?
Probably.
Fam, the Heat don't have more to offer because Utah's not wanting now. They're wanting for the future. The Heat would have stuff to offer for the now. The Knicks have 7 first-round picks in the next 3 drafts. You know,
See, the draft is the future, but I disagree with you. I think the Heat have a lot to offer for the future.
no, they don't.
So many young guards. So many young guards.
Duncan Robinson has no value. They're Tyler Hero,
Duncan Robinson's no value because of his contract.
and they have no picks. They
Duncan,
have no picks to offer. None.
it's true.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour till we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Thanks for being with us. Tiger tees off at the top of the hour. Our poll question, Tiger Woods based. So how do you think he's going to do? Miss the cut? Make the cut, but that's about it. Or, no, actually, it's St. Andrews. I think he'll contend. And, you know, contend is loosely defined. I mean, you can be on the second page of the leaderboard and still be in contention.
And if he contends at all, maybe does he contend? You know, if you are in there Saturday and kind of fall, he contended theoretically. You could finish T25 and still have contended at a point.
Make a couple bogeys down the stretch, finish T14 and still be having contended. So however you define contending, there you go. That's our poll question.
I think he makes the cut for the record.
I agree, but I do not think he contends.
That's where I am.
This is a fascinating tweet. At least I think so. Fox College Football sent this out and said, hey, you know, we know what the Big Ten is going to look like in a couple of years. We know what the SEC is going to look like in 2 to 3 years. You know how we have these conference challenges in basketball? What do you say we put together a Big Ten SEC challenge in football?
Love it.
Think about that weekend. Have to be early in the year, you figure.
It's a September. It's a Labor Day weekend. And maybe the next.
I mean, think about it. Fox and their family of networks would get half the games, and ABC, ESPN, and their family of networks would get the other half of games.
You think they just sent that tweet out without any thought?
Right. So here's what they went with. I think this is largely based on last year and how teams fared. So this is why they paired schools the way they have it. Because, you know, these conferences all, you know, how many wins are you going to get? Are we right? You're going to win the challenge, Mark. And even you care. You're a Michigan State guy. When the Big Ten ACC basketball challenge happens, you would like to see.
No, but I'd really care if it was Big Ten SEC football. And I don't know if I'd care who win. I would be all into this.
Okay. So Michigan, Georgia.
Yep.
Well,
Georgia's a 16-point favorite.
Well, also, we saw that game last year.
Right.
Ohio State, Alabama. Come on, that's pretty sexy.
You think?
That'll work.
Bama -2. Just a honk off Ohio State fan there.
Michigan State, Oklahoma.
Ooh, Oklahoma by 14.
Iowa, Kentucky.
Iowa, Kentucky.
Well, I think they did. I think they put this together based on how teams fared last year. So I think,
It's not even a good basketball game. Hawkeyes roll.
What do you mean it's not even a good basketball game? Wow. It's a great line. Wisconsin, Ole Miss.
Boy, I'd love to see that.
Styles make a fight, too.
Three in a cloud of dust against Kiffin. Oh, man, that would be fun.
Minnesota, Arkansas. How about the difference in the two coaches? All right.
Yeah, one's a really good guy and the other's PJ Fleck.
Right. Well, but also one guy's all show and the other guy's all meat and potatoes, literally. Purdue, Tennessee.
Oh, could you imagine losing that one, Vols? Could you imagine if Purdue beat you, Vols?
UCLA, A&M. Hey, they had a home and home 5-6 years ago, and it was tremendous.
Wait a minute. Is this the Big 12, Pac-12 challenge? I'm sorry. I was confused with that last
It
one.
is the Big Ten with UCLA a member against Texas A&M. Penn State, South Carolina. Maryland, Mississippi State. Well, I can't believe they put this one together. Rutgers would have played LSU.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's an ouch. Illinois against Missouri.
That's perfect.
And it's a perfect regional thing,
Yes.
too. USC, Texas. And both fourth from the bottom, too.
Do you know what that name of that game is? It's the War Back Bowl.
Right. Northwestern, Auburn. Two teams who had very disappointing years.
Imagine losing
last
that one,
year.
Auburn.
How about this one? This game got played once before. Chance for the Gators to get payback. Nebraska, Florida. And
I love every minute of this, by the way.
And then Indiana, Vanderbilt. And I think they've actually played. But so Fox College Football just threw it out there on Twitter. All right, a little Big Ten SEC challenge.
First couple weeks of September, that would be dynamite.
I mean, yeah. And it might be more than just Fox. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Big Ten would let whoever their second network's going to be, or even third network, or what have you. But we know the games that are at SEC stadiums would all be on the ESPN family of networks. But think people would watch these games?
Oh,
How about this?
Goodness.
How about this? Yay or nay? Does it interest you? Like, would you watch?
I'm fascinated. I would.
Georgia, Michigan.
Yes.
Bama, Ohio
Yes.
State. Well, you're a Michigan State fan, but Michigan State, Oklahoma. Iowa, Kentucky.
I'm not interested.
Okay,
for
so
the record.
Fine. Wisconsin, Ole Miss.
Yep.
Minnesota, Arkansas.
Yep.
Purdue, Tennessee.
A little.
UCLA, A&M.
A little. I mean, I'm still trying to come to grips with that UCLA Big Ten thing. Sorry.
And
it's UCLA football, by the way.
Fortunately, they're giving you a couple years to adjust.
Yes.
Penn State, South Carolina.
Okay.
Have to admit, I would have liked it better when it was Paterno and Spurrier, but that's all right. Maryland, Mississippi State.
No real interest.
No, and you and I are both Leach guys, but right. Rutgers, LSU.
No interest.
Illinois, Missouri.
I don't have any interest, but I love the game.
USC, Texas.
And their fan bases would love the game.
USC, Texas.
Oh.
Northwestern, Auburn.
Sure.
Nebraska, Florida.
Absolutely.
And then Indiana, Vandy, probably not.
Probably not.
So basically 12 of the, 16 there.
Love it.
Just an idea.
And a great idea at that. Hey, by the way, yesterday was National French Fry Day.
Yes.
So I asked where the best fries were. Today is National Mac and Cheese Day. But my favorite part of today is National Nude Day and National Tape Measure Day. I don't recommend using those two at the same time. A lot of disappointment in a lot of areas for people.
Well, why don't we get right into it then?
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
For the good, we go to Fort Myers. Well, Vic Cabrera and his son Ethan, during the COVID pandemic, wanted to do something that didn't involve electronics. So they started planting vegetables in a home garden. And then they started learning a little bit more about that. And then they started their own not-for-profit called the One Flower Project, where they assemble kits and sell them, or you can make a $10 donation as part of the profit, and they use these to send to schools and camps across the country to teach kids about plants. They have been responsible for sending thousands of plants from Florida to Washington. If you want to learn more about the project, go to oneflowerproject.org, oneflowerproject.org. For the bad, boy, it's a toss-up. But we'll go to the Keys, where Francis Tristram has been arrested after impersonating a law enforcement officer in an attempt to have his ex-girlfriend arrested. He called Monroe County's 911 communication center, claiming to be an off-duty New York State trooper reporting a possible intoxicated driver driving recklessly. He pointed out his ex-girlfriend's car, and as the car was pulled over, he made it to the traffic stop as well. She told, at that point, deputies she believed that he was behind the traffic stop and he was harassing her. Following investigations, they were able to report the fake DUI call to his phone, and, well, he has been arrested. Man, just let it go. She's done with you, dude.
Right.
Finally, the ugly, Jabray Miller in Naples took off from the cops when they attempted to conduct a traffic stop. He refused to pull over and then started throwing things out the window. It was crack cocaine.
Oh, man.
I never understand the throwing out the window. Like, they're not going to see that.
Right.
I mean, seriously, don't you think you'd be able to roll the window down and trying to be dumping things out the window? But when you the arm's going in the throw, hey, he threw that out the window right here. It seems pretty obvious.
Remember when Joe Negro got caught with the
The
nail
emery board or whatever?
They asked him to empty his back pocket, and he did, and it just, flipped. And I think it was Dave Pallone, who was the umpire, who had his chin in his hand, and he just kind of peered down like, what do we have here? And Joe Negro's like, oh my goodness, where did that come from? That's kind of like throwing the crack cocaine out of the car. No, they're not going to see that.
You know what I just did? Was the good, the bad, and the ugly one I was supposed to be doing today was a day win.
Yeah, you did just do that.
Well, should we play the good, bad, and ugly now? And you do today was
Sure, why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's finish the show out in flying colors.
See what
As I
happens.
flame
You've
out.
heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida.
We didn't even
Well,
stop you.
Mark Miller.
No, neither of
sees it
you.
differently.
No.
He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
All right, what happened today?
See what happens, when we're all watching golf and we got one more segment to go. By the way, Ernie Els doubled 17.
Damn.
I know. He just went bogey double. He's now 2 under.
Starting 1946 today, Dr. Spock's Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care is published. 1951, the first color telecast of a sporting event. It was a horse race on CBS. 1968 today, Hank Aaron hits number 500. 69, Easy Rider is released. Also in 69, the U.S. takes away out of circulation the $500, $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 bill. I have a hard enough time every once in a while when you get a C note spending it. You try to hold on to that C note as long as you can.
Right.
Could you imagine having a $10,000 bill in your pocket?
Probably so rare right now.
73 British at Royal Troon. Weiskopf wins wire to wire over Johnny Miller by 3.
Was his only major. Amazingly, his only major.
Today in 74, Billy Martin is the first American League umpire ejected by an umpire in 2 games in 1 day. That's the way to do it. Get bounced by the same ump in a doubleheader twice.
Well, you just pick up the conversation where you left it off. I could see how it happens.
1983, Mario Brothers is first released by Nintendo. 1986, Vince Neil begins his 30-day sentence for vehicular homicide. That's when rock and roll was rock and roll. That's when you could, there were no rules.
Ridiculous.
It really is. 88, Mike Schmidt hits number 537 to go number 7, passing Mickey Mantle on the all-time list. That was mostly just for David because he's a gigantic Michael Schmidt fan.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
1989, when Harry Met Sally was released. 1996, John Wetland sets an MLB record with 24 consecutive saves.
His setup man was Mariano Rivera.
And in 2019, Joker wins over Federer in the longest ever Wimbledon final, winning in 5 sets in 4 hours, 57 minutes.
I remember that match. That was a really good match.
I think Djokovic saved the championship point.
Those born today that are no longer with us: William Hanna from Hanna-Barbera Cartoons, Woody Guthrie, Gerald Ford, and Lee Elder. Those that are still with us: actress Jane Lynch is 62. You know her from like Best in Show, Glee, 2.5 Men, etc. Robin Ventura is 55. Daryl Rivas is 37. And Conor McGregor is 34. And there is the backwards with intros and all.
Right.
Today was a day when good, bad, and ugly. Wow.
Nice save, Mark.
Surprisingly,
Epic fail right there.
Surprisingly, just 2 afternoon baseball games today, but the Marlins have a mighty nooner against the Pirates too. Okay. 10,000 over under.
Oh,
Way under.
Under.
Okay.
Got to win this game, though.
Sometimes, and I don't know promotionally if they've got like a big kids, because I would think you see this one on the schedule, you better schedule a promotion.
It's the summer camp ones, though. That's the thing.
Right.
Might edge 10,000, but I'm taking the under.
So can the Rays complete a 4-game sweep against the Red Sox? Tonight, 7:10, we find out. And Orioles and Mariners, each with 10-game winning streaks. Mariners are in Texas against the Rangers, and the Orioles are off. Man,
Get that over 500 win and get a day off to celebrate.
it's just a party day. I'm trying to figure where are they next. All right, they're in St. Pete, by the way. They're going to bring that 10-game winning streak to the Trop tomorrow. How about that? We all thought that'd be a big series heading into the All-Star break, right?
Right.
Baltimore, Tampa Bay. Unbelievable.
Tampa wins that series, or Baltimore wins that series. They're going into the All-Star break saying we have a shot at making the playoffs.
And at worst, even if they lose 2 out of 3, they'll be 500 at the All-Star break.
By the way, Rory is storming right now. 5 under through 15.
Yep. He's playing the par 4 16. 16 and 17 have maybe as challenging a stretch as has been on the course today. 18 is just a darn near lock birdie with the way they're hitting it. So Tigers teeing off in 5 minutes.
And my afternoon will be set. Because unlike the Live Tour golfers, I'm pretty sure we're going to see damn near every shot that Tiger takes today.
Very good chance of that. Very good chance.
We just went a whole show without talking football.
That's not true at all. We had Bud Elliott on the show.
NFL, my bad.
Second one in like 3 weeks.
It can be done.
Right. I mean, what's there to talk about, right?
Nothing right now.
I mean, even Pat only comes on once a week this time of year. I mean, that's when you know it's slow. Thanks so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. How about we do this again on Friday? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa